Yes. Yes, yes, you can start.
Yes, sir. Okay, we'll start now. Pradeep, sir?
Veena,
Yes.
I think you can, yeah. Let's start. Veena, you can start.
Veena ma'am, you can start.
Yes, sir. Okay. A warm good evening to one and all today. We are into the Nation First Dialogues Series 8 today. I begin with the permission of the chair, the Nation First Dialogue topic, Rebuilding Kashmir, Expectations and Opportunities. Let me just quote Saraswati Shloka as a beginning. Namaste Sharada Devi, Kashmira Puravasini, Tvamaham Prarthaye Nityam Vidyadanam Cha Dehi Me. From time immemorial, we have been addressing the goddess of knowledge as Kashmira Puravasini. She is the dweller of Kashmira. She is the embodiment of knowledge. With her blessings, we start the program. Welcome you, sir. We have P.V. Krishna Bhatt here, the chairman of AnanthKumar Pratishthana, and other dignitaries joining us for the Nation First Dialogue on Rebuilding Kashmir, Expectations and Opportunities. Welcome you one and all. So, the Nation First Dialogues is a webinar series organized by AnanthKumar Pratishthana. I welcome you all and I request Dr. Tejaswini Ananthkumar, the chairperson of Adami Chetana, all the support behind this AnanthKumar Pratishthana to welcome the dignitaries. Over to you, Tejaswini ma'am.
Thank you, Veena. Namaskar to all, everyone. On behalf of Professor P.V. Krishna Bhatt ji, who is our president of AnanthKumar Pratishthana, and on behalf of entire team of AnanthKumar Pratishthana, I would like to welcome you all for this special Nation First Dialogue program. In fact, this is the 8th edition of Nation First Dialogue webinar. But to tell you frankly, I am really excited today because the topic itself is such, it is rebuilding Kashmir, opportunities and expectations. And when we named this program, our webinar series as Nation First Dialogue, in fact, it was the we are inspired by the life of Sri AnanthKumar, who dedicated his whole life for the nation, for the people, for the society, starting at the age of 16. Of course, before that itself, even when he was in school, he was in Scouts, he was in NCC in his school days as well. But he joined Vidyarthi Parishad when he was 16, and then he joined the JP movement, and he was in jail for a couple of months, and then onwards his journey both as a college student and also in Vidyarthi Parishad started. And from then till his last days, that is when he worked for the nation in various portfolios. He was minister in Atal Bihari Vajpayee's government. He was minister in Narendra Modi's government. He has a major role in building Bharatiya Janata Party in Karnataka, even in other states. And especially when it comes to his leadership, he has not only inspired many leaders, trained them, brought them into the mainstream, and also his three main mottos. One was always thinking about nation first. He always used to say nation first, party next, and me last. It's been his words throughout. And Kayakave Kailasa, that is the He always used to work for 18 hours a day, continuous travel. I have not seen him staying in one single place for 2 consecutive days, except while Parliament was on. Always used to be touring entire country, and initial days it was touring the entire state. And also the third most important thing, normally people always used to, when they remember AnanthKumar, they used to remember his memory power and his people connect. And when I asked him, how do you do it? How do you remember all the MPs' names? How do you remember all our Karyakartas' names? He used to tell me that if whether you forget the family members' names, we normal, because he always thought for him it was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. He always thought his party, his constituency, his friends, and the parliament itself across the party lines. He always treated it as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, their family members, and he had a great gifted memory power, which uh, he always he involved in all the various activities of the nation. I remember when he first time when he became civil aviation minister in Atal Bihari Vajpayee's time in 1998, uh, along with under the leadership of Advani ji, there was an airport set up in Leh, and the Sindhu Darshan, there was a mega Sindhu Darshan program. As a civil aviation minister, even I accompanied him in that event. In 1999, when he became the culture minister, he organized further bigger program. He made sure that people came to Leh, visited Leh for the Sindhu Darshan program from every state of India. And that continued when at the time of new millennium, he started Vande Mataram for the new year, new millennium, which we continued the singing complete Vande Mataram. There are so many such programs, Brahmaputra Darshan, so many programs where always make us think nation first, uniting the whole country. And that's why for us today, for AnanthKumar Pratishthana, this topic is, I thought, is a very, very important topic. Not just because now the Kashmir Files is in full news, everybody is talking about it. Of course, in back of our everybody's mind, this was always there. I still remember when I joined ABVP in '83, in every Abhyas Varga, in every state or every program, Article 370 would be there. And again, it was AnanthKumar ji who used to talk for hours together on this topic then. And this continued for many of us in our various Parivar organizations. But when we saw it in a big screen, the real true story, what really happened, it's not that we were not knowing fully, but we were not knowing it fully, or especially the way it was shown to the people. Now it is the time we all thought, yes, we know it, although we knew all these things, everybody has started feeling, yes, I should really do something. And why we didn't do anything all these years? Why we just stopped at just doing some seminars and conducting some meetings, just talking about what happened. But why not we do our bit, whatever it is? How can we contribute? I think it is not only the people who are here, there are many who I meet and they keep talking about it, how we can do something, how we can do our bit. And that's why AnanthKumar Pratishthana decided that we should do our Nation First dialogue this time on this particular topic. Hear from the experienced people, hear from the people who have done the research, who have lived there, who've been working in this area. So we thought we should invite them, hear what they say, and discuss with them. So actually we invite today Honorable Minister V. Muralidharanji, who worked with AnanthKumar for a long time from his ABVP days, will be joining us within few minutes. And then we have Shri Ashutosh Bhatnagarji, Director, Jammu Kashmir Study Center, who will bring his vast experience about Kashmir and the various issues related to it. I also welcome, I welcome Shri Ashutosh Bhatnagarji for this Nation First Dialogue of AnanthKumar Pratishthana today. And I also welcome Shri Giridhar Lal Raina ji, who is an ex-MLC from J&K state, who is again definitely, he's been there, he's been with the people of Kashmir, and I welcome Shri Giridhar Lal Raina ji for this Nation First Dialogue of AnanthKumar Pratishthana. And I would like to welcome Srimati Sahna Vijay Kumar, who is from Karnataka, and I was really like how Kashmir Files has brought a big excitement, big change amongst the people. The book written, the Kashira is the name of the book. She wrote it, I think, some 4 years back, and that brought ripples into, and it is now, we came to know so many things about Kashmir after reading her book. Now the English version and also Hindi version has come. I welcome Srimati Sahna Vijay Kumar, the author of book Kashmir. And also I would like to welcome the great friend of AnanthKumar ji, our family friend, Shri R.K. Mattu ji. And I know R.K. Mattu since 1991, and the way how he struggled for the people who came to Bangalore, accommodating them. Then he created an association and they built a excellent building, probably the second one in India for Kashmiri Pandits. He is the chairman of Kashmiri Hindu Cultural Welfare Trust, Bangalore. And since last 35 years, he is working in this area. And I think he is the right person here I don't want to call him as a guest. He is part of AnanthKumar Pratishthana. He will be sharing his thoughts with us. And I welcome all the other dignitaries who have assembled here. We have Dr. Vishtukant Chetpalli, who is a Vice Chancellor of Rural University, Gadag. And we have so many other dignitaries here with us. Dr. Anjana Reddy is here, Dr. Raghav Shetty, Aishwarya AnanthKumar, who is, and then my daughter Aishwarya AnanthKumar, my daughter Vijeta AnanthKumar. They have worked for this program. We have Divakar ji with us. We have Divesh Pratap Singh, Pradeep Oak, Pradeep Pai, of course, he'll be sharing many of his thoughts. We have Raju Bannur. We have many well-wishers who have been working with us for the cause of Adamya Chetana's various projects and also for various projects of AnanthKumar Pratishthana. I welcome all of you on behalf of our chairman, Professor Krishna Bhatji. He is also here with us. I welcome him as well. And I think I will stop here.
Ma'am, you forgot Raina, sir.
Yeah. I welcome Shri Raina ji for this event, and I think Pradeep Pai will introduce each one of them as we go further. I thank you all of you for this event. Namaste.
Veena, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for that brief introduction and also for welcoming the dignitaries. And on behalf of AnanthKumar Pratishthana, I welcome you too, ma'am. Thank you once again. The AnanthKumar Pratishthana started the Nation First Dialogues in August 2020, and this is the 8th series in that series of Nation First Dialogues. And all the issues that have been taken up since August 2020 have been issues that are relevant to the development of nation and also to build the spirit of nation building among the youth. This is the main purpose and focus of NFD that has been organized by AnanthKumar Pratishthana. Now, why Kashmir? Why we are talking about Kashmir this time? So just let's a small introduction about that. As you all know, the history of Kashmir can be traced back to Vedic period when it is said that sage Kashyapa, the grandson of Lord Brahma, drained a lake in the Himalayan region and created a space to dwell for people. Hence the name Kashyapa's Maira or Kashmira. Kallana's Rajatarangini chronicles the history of Kashmir from mythological times to 12th century. From 12th century onwards, we find that it has been ruled by many dynasties, the Mughals being most prominent. And if we repeat the quote of Amir Khusro, as repeated by Jahangir, Gar Firdaus Ruye Zameen Ast, Hameen Asto, Hameen Asto, Hameen Ast. This is what Kashmir is, the beauty, the divine beauty of Kashmir. That is what has enchanted people all over the world since time immemorial. Kashmir is not just a place, it's not just a state. For all Indians and India, for the entire subcontinent of India, it is an emotion. That is what Kashmir is. So now I request Pradeep Paisa to introduce the first speaker of the day, Mrs. Sahna Vijay Kumar, who wrote the book Kashira. Over to you, Pradeep Paisa. So please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Vijay. I would like to introduce and welcome Sahna Vijay Kumar. Sahnaji will be, her recorded video will be played here because at the same time she is a panelist at Mangalore Lit Fest. I think she is now speaking on the same subject in Mangalore also. So we have a recorded video of hers, and I would like to introduce her to this August gathering. Srimati Sahna Vijay Kumar is an IT professional and a well-known current affairs columnist. She also has 3 novels to her credit, the first one being Kshama, based on a contemporary theme of family values. It was published in the year 2016. Her second novel, the one which Tejaswi AnanthKumar mentioned, Kashira, was published in the year July 2018, where that novel dwells with the theme of Kashmir. Her third novel, Avasana, all the 3 were in Kannada, and her third novel, Avasana, portrays the family philosophy of Pandrapura intertwined with the stark realism of Kamatipura, which was released in the year 2020. It's great to know that all of her novels have been translated to Hindi, English, and also into Marathi. The specialty of Srimati Sahna Vijay Kumar is she is a methodical researcher and has traveled a lot in Kashmir before she wrote Kashira. Now let's listen to her inspiring and informative talk on Kashmir over this recorded address now. Over to Purna.
Namaste, everyone. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Shri AnanthKumar Pratishthana for creating this platform to create awareness about the Kashmir issue. But I visited Kashmir about 6 years ago, and I spent some time there and I did some research and came up with a novel. Not just me, I've heard many writers, at least a good number of them had visited Kashmir earlier, and they have visited the places and have written stories or novels. So what is it that writers or thinkers from across India have been attracted to Kashmir? I mean, we do not belong from the place. We are not Kashmiri Pandits. There was still an attraction, or say that there was an inquisitiveness because of which we visited Kashmir. And at that point, I clearly remember, after I wrote the novel in Karnataka, many young students and professionals wrote emails to me. They would question me also during many seminars as to how can we help. What is it that we as Indians can do for this cause? So what I'm trying to tell is there is a progress that we have seen all these years. The first phase was where nobody understood what the problem was. We did not have clarity about the cause. That was when I had traveled, I tried to understand, and all my readers were trying to understand what the problem was. So when we did that, phase one was clear. We knew what we were trying to understand. We were trying to comprehend the root cause, and all that was done. And we were through that phase. Now, over a period of last 4 or 5 years, or say after the 370 was abrogated, most of us know the problems. We want to see how do we get a solution. We want to address this problem and contribute in our own ways. So I have received so many emails where professionals wanted to help. They wanted to donate whatever they could. There were many volunteers who wanted to go to Kashmir and do things on the ground. So there was no opportunity until now. For so many legal reasons also. But now this very next stage is important. The second phase is very important because now whoever wants to contribute, whoever wants to participate directly or indirectly, if provided a proper channel, will definitely add value, will definitely help us realize the cause. So with the Pratisthana also taking up so many initiatives, and if other organizations also can come together and utilize this support that is coming from the different classes of the society, I think we will be able to make a very good progress, because what we have to understand is this mentality or the psychological change that has come about from what is the problem, where is the problem, to yes, we know the problem, let us try to find a solution. So this Pratisthana raises some very important questions as to what an individual can do. It helps find answers. I think we have a very good opportunity to carve the path from here on and take everyone along who will come with us. Because now, after the movie The Kashmir Files, the awareness is very much around. I mean, everybody understands the truth, everybody acknowledges. There is a lot of honesty in admitting. So we should be able to work together as a society and address this, is what I believe. And each one of us can contribute in our own unique ways. So I would thank the Pratisthana for having given me the opportunity to share what I feel. And I would also do my bit as and when the situation arises. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sahana ma'am, for your message. And thank you, Purna sir, for playing that. And I remind the participants in the webinar and also those who have joined on YouTube, you can post your questions in the chat box. And as the talk completes, we will be giving that to the speakers. We'll be dropping it to the speakers so that they can answer your questions. So any questions or any query or any point of view that you want to share, you can drop it in the chat box. Thank you. As Sahana ma'am said, yes, Kashmir is that emotion to us. We have all heard stories, incidents about ethnic strife between the local majority and minority communities, exodus of Kashmiri Pandits, local politics, interference by our neighbors, and so on. And today's NFD topic is very relevant in the wake of the discussions, dialogues triggered by the movie The Kashmir Files. This is what Sahna Vijay Kumar ma'am also said now. Now, I request Pradeep Pai sir to introduce our next guest of the day, Shri Ashutosh Bhatnagar ji, Director, Jammu and Kashmir Study Center. Over to you, Pradeep Pai sir.
Thanks, Vinaji. I would like to inform that we, Muralidharanji, will be joining anytime soon. Till then, we will be going ahead with the program, and Sri Ashutoshji would be addressing us. It's I think it's the first time I am very formally introducing Ashutoshi in any of the programs. Ashutoshi presently is a freelance journalist, and he was a full-time worker of ABVP, and he served in several capacities. And the final responsibility was as Janasamparka Pramukh of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. He is still a journalist, and he had headed the organization called Hindustan Samachar as its news editor. Presently, he also edits he is an honorary editor of two monthly magazines. One is Samvad Setu and Rashtriya Chhatra Shakti. And he is also a governing board member of National Book Trust. He is known for his information and about curating and creating museums. So he is a consultant to create and curate museums, and he is an advisor to Prasar Bharati for producing mega serials on freedom struggle. Ashutoshi is a regular contributor to print and web media, and he has authored several books, namely Jammu Kashmir Ek Avalokan, Jammu Kashmir तथ्यापरक विश्लेषण, Jammu Kashmir पर वार्ताकारों की रिपोर्ट. These are the three books on Jammu Kashmir. 1857 का स्वातंत्र समर एक विहंगावलोकन, कारगिल की शौर्य गाथा, and most importantly a biography of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose named Mrityunjay Subhash. Ashutoshi presently is the director of Jammu Kashmir Study Center, a New Delhi based research think tank which is focusing on the issues related to Jammu Kashmir. As I know, Ashutoshi has traveled since 2011 in the state of Jammu Kashmir and also the Ladakh part, and he has visited every inch of Jammu Kashmir. I think he might have gone to every place where only the security people could go earlier. He understands the pulse and politics of Jammu Kashmir very much. Now, I would like to request Ashutosh to give us the present day situation, the canvas of Jammu Kashmir today. Over to Ashutosh ji.
धन्यवाद प्रदीप जी. सबसे पहले तो मैं माननीय अनंत कुमार जी की स्मृति को प्रणाम करता हूं. आदरणीय पीवी कृष्ण भट्ट जी, जिनके साथ रहकर हमने कुछ चलना, लिखना, पढ़ना और संगठन का काम करना सीखा, उनके सामने बोलने का भी साहस करना ये भी थोड़ा मेरे लिए मुश्किल है, लेकिन तो भी उन्हीं से सीखा है, इसलिए उन्हीं को समर्पित है. और मुझे लगता है यहाँ पर जितने लोग हैं वो सभी उनके स्पर्श से ही आगे बढ़े हैं, ऐसा मैं मान सकता हूँ. जम्मू कश्मीर की समस्या जिसको हम कहते थे, ये तो 1947 के बाद से ही हम सबके ध्यान में थी. और जैसा प्रारंभ में तेजस्विनी जी ने कहा, परिषद में रहते हुए हम ऐसा कोई भी कार्यक्रम हमारा नहीं हुआ होगा जब हमने की स्थिति का स्मरण. 2009 संघ ने एक अलग तरीके से निश्चय किया और इसके लिए जम्मू कश्मीर अध्ययन केंद्र का गठन किया गया. ये संयोग ही था कि मुझे इसकी जिम्मेदारी मिली और अन्य अनेक कार्यकर्ताओं के साथ मिलकर जैसा एक नए सिरे से सोचने की आवश्यकता लगती थी उस समय, वैसा करने का प्रयास किया। तो 2 वर्ष तक देश के 14 विश्वविद्यालय को साथ लेकर बहुत किया गया और इन विश्वविद्यालयों से लगभग 5000 पेज का डॉक्यूमेंटेशन करके गृह मंत्रालय को सौंपा गया जब ये निर्णय करने की। तो बड़ी तैयारी के साथ हम लोग आगे बढ़े और उसका सबके ध्यान से मिले प्रशिक्षण का ही कह सकते हैं कि परिणाम था। आज मुझे बोलने का अवसर मिला, इसके लिए मैं आभारी हूँ। अनंत कुमार जी की स्मृति में गठित ट्रस्ट के मंच पर बोलने का अवसर मिला, इसलिए भी क्योंकि उनके साथ अनेक बार काम करने का अवसर मिला और जम्मू कश्मीर पर बहुत आलादित हूँ। एक साथ रखकर विचार करना होगा और इसमें वो हिस्सा भी शामिल है जो आज भारत के साथ नहीं। इसलिए जब हम चार में सामने है हमारे, ये स्मरण रखने की जरूरत है। अभी आज संदर्भ जब कश्मीर फाइल्स के ने एक बार फिर से इस पूरी चर्चा को केंद्रीय विषय बना दिया और पूरा देश इस पर चर्चा कर रहा है और जिसके उल्लंघन किया जाना चाहिए, जिसके कारण देश के लगभग सभी लोगों तक एक स्थिति आई है और जिससे एक जागरण हुआ, विवेक हो गया। लेकिन पिछले लगभग 1.5 दशक में जो स्थिति हुई और उससे पहले जब 1990 में 89-90 में विस्थापन हुआ, उसके भूमिका पिछले कुछ वर्षों से बन रही थी और हम जानते हैं कि सबसे पहले वर्ल्ड क्रिकेट मैच पर हमला हुआ वहां पर श्रीनगर के मैदान में और वो जहां से कहानी की शुरुआत होती है। बाद में अनेक छोटी छोटी घटनाएं और उनका वॉल्यूम बढ़ते जाना और लास्टली वो स्थिति आई जब 1990 में 19-20 जनवरी की रात को हमारे कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज को वहां से निकलना पड़ा। चीजें होती दिख रही थी लेकिन ऐसा लगता था कि चीजें संभल जाएंगी। सत्ता पर विश्वास था, सरकार कुछ ना कुछ करेगी, सेना कुछ ना कुछ करेगी, लेकिन समय रहते कुछ नहीं हुआ और इतने अप्रत्याशित ढंग से घटनाएं सामने आई कि विशेष रूप से जो लोग कश्मीर में रहे थे उनको संभलने का, समझने का मौका ही नहीं मिला और इसलिए उनको उनके सामने कश्मीर घाटी को छोड़ने के अलावा कोई विकल्प आम तौर पर नहीं था। हालांकि मैं ये बात यहाँ जरूर अंडरलाइन करना चाहूंगा कि कुछ लोग ऐसे भी थे जिन्होंने किसी भी हालत में जम्मू कश्मीर न छोड़ने का तय किया और शायद हम में से कुछ लोगों को यह आश्चर्य होगा कि लगभग 1000 फैमिलीज ऐसी हैं जिन्होंने कश्मीर कभी नहीं छोड़ा, इन परिस्थितियों में भी नहीं छोड़ा, बहुत कुछ कीमत चुकाई फिर भी नहीं छोड़ा और उनके अगली पीढ़ी बच्चों को शायद स्कूल भी नहीं मिला, उनको रोजगार नहीं मिले, फिर भी उन्होंने कश्मीर से नाता नहीं तोड़ा, कश्मीर में बने रहे। ऐसे 1000 परिवार हैं और जिनको वास्तव में आज उनको उनका याद रखने की जरूरत है। अनेक प्रमुख लोग, विशेष रूप से मैं नाम लेना चाहूंगा प्रोफेसर टीके गंजू, त्रिलोकीनाथ गंजू जी, विश्व हिंदू परिषद के प्रदेश अध्यक्ष कश्मीर घाटी में रहते हैं और यासीन मलिक के पीछे उनका घर है उन्होंने तय किया कि मेरे साथ कुछ भी होगा मैं नहीं छोड़ूंगा, और उन्होंने आज तक वो घर नहीं छोड़ा। सब जानते थे विश्व हिंदू परिषद के अध्यक्ष हैं और उनके साथ क्या संभावना है ये भी, लेकिन संयोग से सौभाग्य से ये उनके साथ नहीं हुआ। आज वो बहुत वरिष्ठ है, 90 पार की आयु उनकी होकर उन्होंने रहा, लेकिन एक पूरा जीवन उन्होंने वहां बिता दिया, नहीं छोड़ा। तो ऐसे संकल्प के साथ कुछ लोग डटे रहे। जम्मू को थोड़ा समझने का मौका मिला, इसलिए जम्मू में एक बड़ा वर्ग था जिसने पलायन करने के बजाय लड़ने का निश्चय किया, और यही कारण रहा कि कुछ वर्षों के संघर्ष के बाद जम्मू से आतंकवाद को पीछे हटना पड़ा। कश्मीर घाटी से जुड़े हुए जम्मू के हिस्से, किश्तवाड़, डोडा, रामबन के जो हिस्से जिनमें आतंकवाद बहुत खतरनाक स्थिति तक आया था, ठीक वैसा ही जैसा कश्मीर में था, लेकिन चूंकि थोड़ा समय लगा इसको, इसलिए वो वहां पर के लड़े और एक हिस्से तक उन्होंने विजय भी प्राप्त। इसलिए समग्रता में, जम्मू कश्मीर और लद्दाख की समग्रता में हमें विचार करना चाहिए। जैसा शुरू में बताया गया, हजारों वर्षों से, या जिसको हम भारत की संस्कृति कहते हैं, जम्मू कश्मीर का योगदान इस भारत की संस्कृति को बनाने और विस्तृत करने में है। हम जिनको अपने मूल्य कहते हैं, भारतीय मूल्य कहते हैं, भारतीय मूल्यों का बड़ा हिस्सा योगदान ये जम्मू कश्मीर से, खासतौर से कश्मीर से हमें मिला है। कश्मीर से ही हमें जो हमारी ज्ञान परंपरा है उसका भी बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा मिला है। आप उसको मेटलर्जी कहें, आप उसको मेडिकल साइंसेस कहेंगे, आप उसको सर्जरी कहें, आप उसको लैंग्वेज लिटरेचर कहें, ज्ञान का जो भी प्रवाह भारत में हुआ उसका एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा ये कश्मीर से चलकर पूरे देश में पहुंचा है। और उस पूरी विरासत को हम सब संभालते हैं। इसलिए कश्मीर केवल ये नहीं भूमि का एक टुकड़ा है जहां पर कुछ लोग थे जिनको निकलना पड़ गया और इसलिए वो हमारी स्मृति से मिट सकता है, ऐसा नहीं है। कश्मीर वो है जिसके बिना भारत अधूरा है, और इसलिए आज जो कश्मीर हमारे साथ है वह भी रहेगा। एक दौर था जब हम में से बहुत सारे लोगों को ये लगने लगा था कि कश्मीर शायद हाथ से निकल जाएगा, लेकिन जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों ने ही वो साहस दिखाया है, जब बहुत बड़ी कीमत चुकाकर भी उसको स्मरण रखा, उसका संघर्ष जारी रखा। उन्हें जम्मू कश्मीर से इसलिए पलायन करना पड़ा क्योंकि वो अपने आप को भारतीय कहते थे, भारत का हिंदू समाज का, हिंदू जीवन पद्धति को अपना कहते थे, इसलिए उन्हें कश्मीर छोड़ना पड़ा। और इसीलिए वो लगातार लड़ते रहे क्योंकि वो एक कश्मीर की विरासत को, हिंदू विरासत को, भारतीय संस्कृति को साथ लेकर चल रहे थे, और इसीलिए पूरा देश उनके साथ खड़ा हुआ। और आज हम उस मार्ग पर चल पड़े हैं जहां अब किसी को ये संदेह नहीं बचा है कि कश्मीर हाथ से निकल जाएगा। अब ये विश्वास भी दृढ़ होता जा रहा है, गहरा होता जा रहा है कि जो हिस्सा नियंत्रण रेखा के दूसरी ओर भारत का है वह भी वापस आएगा, और मूल प्रश्न यही है कि वो कैसे वापस आए। कश्मीर जाने का विषय कोई बचा नहीं, और इसलिए मुख्य धारा की जो स्थिति है आज, जिस पर मेरे और आदरणीय अजय भारती जी हैं वो भी बोलेंगे, हमारे मट्टू जी हैं वो भी विचार रखेंगे, इसलिए मैं उससे थोड़ा आगे बढ़ते हुए फिर आगे के विषय पाता हूँ। आर्टिकल 370, जैसा मैंने कहा पिछले 10-12 वर्षों में संघर्ष हुआ, उसको उस पर एक चर्चा खड़ी करने की, और निश्चित रूप से इसको हम कह सकते हैं कि एक बड़ी सफलता मिली, जो राष्ट्रीय चिंतन करने वाले सभी लोगों के आत्मविश्वास को बढ़ाने वाली बात थी। कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज का भी आत्मविश्वास इससे बढ़ा कि जो कुछ बोलते आ रहे थे दशकों से वो पूरा हो सकता है, करके दिखाया जा सकता है। और 370 की आड़ में देश के साथ और वहां के स्थानीय लोगों के साथ, और उसमें स्थानीय मुस्लिम भी शामिल है, उनके साथ जो अन्याय अत्याचार हो रहा था उसका निवारण 370 में संशोधन और आर्टिकल 35 कैपिटल ए के और 1954 का 1954 का जो प्रेसिडेंशियल ऑर्डर था उसके समाप्त होने के कारण हुआ है। इस सब के कारण माने 35 ए का जाना, प्रेसिडेंशियल ऑर्डर 1954 का समाप्त होना और 370 में बदलाव, इन तीनों ने मिलकर भारत के संविधान को जम्मू कश्मीर में लागू करने का रास्ता साफ कर दिया। और जब आज जम्मू कश्मीर भारत के संविधान के अंतर्गत पूरी तरह है। इसलिए जम्मू कश्मीर के सभी निवासी को वो अधिकार प्राप्त हो गए जो भारत के किसी भी नागरिक को हैं, और भारत के प्रत्येक नागरिक को देश के किसी भी हिस्से में जो अधिकार मिले हैं वो जम्मू कश्मीर में भी हासिल है। और इसलिए 370 हटने का अर्थ केवल ये नहीं है कि कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज वापस जा सकता है। इसकी मांग हम कर रहे थे, कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज को जाने की वापस जाने की व्यवस्था की हो, लेकिन ये जो परिवर्तन हुए, संवैधानिक परिवर्तन हुए, उसने केवल कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज नहीं, प्रत्येक भारतीय के जम्मू कश्मीर में जाने, वहां रहने, वहां का स्थायी निवासी बनने, कानूनों की प्रक्रिया का पालन करते हुए वहां पर देश के किसी भी हिस्से की तरह अपने अधिकारों का प्रयोग करने का रास्ता खोल दिया है। इसलिए आज कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज तो जाएगा ही, हम में से हर कोई जो निश्चित करेगा कि उसको जम्मू कश्मीर में जाना है, अपना योगदान देना है, वो वहां जा सकता है, वहां रह सकता है, वहां व्यापार शुरू कर सकता है, वहां नौकरी कर सकता है, वहां अपने बच्चों का एडमिशन करा सकता है। और ये सारा कुछ हम प्रत्येक भारतीय के लिए अब खुल गया है, और ये निश्चित रूप से एक आत्मविश्वास बढ़ाने वाली और आगे प्रगति की ओर ले जाने वाली बात है। बड़ी जनसंख्या जो वहां पर स्थानीय रूप से रहती है, हम लोगों का लगातार वहां जाना हुआ, बहुत नजदीक से उनके साथ इंटरेक्शन है। उनमें से एक छोटी पॉपुलेशन, मुट्ठी भर लोग कह सकते हैं हम, ऐसे हैं जो आज भी उस अलगाववाद के साथ जीते हैं। लेकिन एक बड़ा नंबर ऐसा है जो या तो उस अलगाववाद के साथ नहीं है, या जिन्होंने मान लिया है कि अब अलगाववाद कोई विकल्प नहीं बचा है, और इसलिए जो राष्ट्रीय विकल्प है, राष्ट्रीय संकल्प है, उसके साथ चलना ही ये उनकी नियति है, ऐसा एक बड़ी जनसंख्या ने मान लिया है। और इसलिए मुझे ये प्रसन्नता का विषय तो नहीं, लेकिन मैं उदाहरण दे रहा हूँ कि हमारे एक वरिष्ठ अखिल भारतीय अधिकारी हैं, अभी वर्तमान में तो माननीय सहसर करवा का दायित्व है, उनके पिताजी की मृत्यु हुई पिछली 15 अगस्त के दिन। मैं कश्मीर घाटी में था, मुझे संदेश मिला कि उनकी मृत्यु हो गई है, और मैंने अपना तुरंत विमान से टिकट किया दिल्ली आने के लिए। लेकिन मैं दिल्ली एयरपोर्ट नहीं पहुंच पाया, क्योंकि रास्ते में इतनी जगह तिरंगा लेकर जुलूस निकल रहे थे, ट्रैफिक जाम था तिरंगे यात्रा की वजह से। हर थोड़ी दूर पर कुछ समूह थे जो तिरंगा लेकर नारे लगाते हुए सड़कों पर घूम रहे थे, और उसकी वजह से मैं एयरपोर्ट नहीं पहुंच पाया। मेरे लिए भी बड़ा आश्चर्य का दृश्य था वो, और जो भी उसको देखा गया, उसके यूट्यूब पे कुछ वीडियोस आप लोगों ने भी देखे होंगे। श्रीनगर घाटी में, श्रीनगर की सड़कों पर तिरंगा लेकर समूह नौजवानों के घूम रहे हैं, ये आज का सत्य है। इसलिए कुछ लोग होंगे, कुछ 100 लोग होंगे, शायद 1000 भी हों, जो आज भी पाकिस्तान प्रेरित आतंकवाद, अलगाववाद में विश्वास रखते हों, लेकिन उनकी संख्या बहुत कम है। बड़ी संख्या ऐसी है जिन्होंने ये स्वीकार कर लिया है कि अब जम्मू कश्मीर भारत का अभिन्न अंग जैसा पहले था वैसा ही है, और अब संवैधानिक परिवर्तन के बाद उसमें कोई परिवर्तन की गुंजाइश नहीं है। ये अंतिम रूप बार ये परिवर्तन आया है, और इसलिए जब हिंदू समाज के जाने की बात है तो केवल ये नारेबाजी से नहीं होगी। मैं अब तीसरे विषय पर आता हूं। वहां पर क्या हुआ, 3-4 परिवार थे या 100-200 परिवार थे जो इस पूरे 370 और उसकी आड़ में जो कुछ हो रहा था उसका लाभ उठा रहे थे। इस सबकी चर्चा हमने बहुत सुनी है। 370 के कारण नहीं था, 370 के दुरुपयोग के कारण था। आर्टिकल 370 में ये कहीं नहीं लिखा था कि आप हम लोग जा नहीं सकते, बस नहीं सकते, वोट नहीं दे सकते। 370 में कहीं नहीं था। वहां की बेटी के साथ अन्याय होगा अगर वो बाहर कहीं शादी करेगी, और यहाँ से जाने वाले के बच्चे पढ़ नहीं सकेंगे। वहां की बेटी अगर कहीं बाहर शादी कर ले तो उसके बच्चों को उसकी संपत्ति हस्तांतरित हो सकती है। 370 में कहीं नहीं लिखा था। लेकिन 370 के नाम पर जो कुछ वहां चल रहा था उसकी आड़ में, वो इस एक भ्रम जाल था। उस भ्रम जाल को नष्ट करने के लिए 370 में ये संशोधन जरूरी थे जो हो गए। आप कल्पना भी करें, हम सब खैर सेना विजय कुमार जी की पुस्तक जिन्होंने पढ़ी है वो, और बाकी पुस्तकों में भी बहुत कुछ है, इसलिए मैं अपने समय सीमा को ध्यान रखते हुए बहुत दोहरा नहीं रहा हूँ। लेकिन एक बड़ा परिवर्तन दिया है जिसने वहां के लोगों को ये विश्वास दिलाया है कि अब सब कुछ सहज होता चला जाएगा। इसलिए वो 3 या 5 या 100 परिवार जो इसका लाभ उठाते रहे, उनका समय अब जा चुका है, और उनके वापस आने के लिए कोई रास्ता बचा नहीं है, इसलिए उस पर बहुत चर्चा करने की गुंजाइश नहीं है। लेकिन ये जरूर है कि पंचायत का चुनाव होने के बाद, जो पिछले 50-70 सालों में केवल 3 बार हुआ था, अब पंचायत के चुनाव के बाद जम्मू कश्मीर राज्य में एक नई लीडरशिप उभरी है, जो पंचायत से, गांव से उभरी है। और अब वो पंचायत से लेकर और प्रदेश तक हर दल में, हर राजनीतिक दल में नई लीडरशिप अपनी जगह बना रही है। और आने वाले कुछ वर्षों में हम देखेंगे कि ये जो पिछले जमी हुई राजनीति थी, इसको बदलकर नए नौजवान युवा सामने आएंगे, जो अब आ रहे हैं, और वो नए दृश्य में भारत के साथ कदम मिलाकर चल सकेंगे। ऐसा मुझे पूरा विश्वास है, आपको भी वहां जाकर देखेंगे तो होगा। जहां तक कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज को वापस जाने की बात बार बार होती है, मैंने जैसा कहा, कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज में ऐसा कोई नहीं है। मैं एक छोटा उदाहरण, एक छोटी फिल्म बनाने के लिए कुछ समय पहले कश्मीर गया था, और उसमें जो एक्टिंग कर रहे थे हम पात्र, वो उनमें से आधे से अधिक कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज के लोग थे। अब थोड़ा इंटीरियर में जाकर हम शूटिंग कर रहे थे, गांव के अंदर एक तो सामान बहुत सारा कुछ लाद कर ले जाना था, और अचानक ध्यान आया कि वो एक ग्लिसरीन लाना भूल गए। तो ग्लिसरीन लाना भूल गए, तो जब आंसू आंसू दिखाने हैं तो कैसे दिखाएंगे, ये तो, और शहर बहुत दूर था, इसलिए जाना बड़ा मुश्किल काम है। तो उनको, जो हमारा एक्ट कर रहे थे, हीरो का काम जो कर रहे थे पात्र, उनको कहा कि भाई ये तो ग्लिसरीन लाना ही भूल गए, और लाना तो बड़ा मुश्किल है। उनका एक वाक्य था जो इस पूरे को बताता है। उन्होंने कहा कि कश्मीर की बात करने के लिए हमें ग्लिसरीन की जरूरत नहीं, आंसू लाने के लिए जब कश्मीर की बात करते हैं तो आंसू तो अपने आप आते हैं। कश्मीर का कोई व्यक्ति कहीं भी दुनिया में रह रहा हो, कितनी भी समृद्धि में रह रहा हो, कोई अपनी जड़ों को भूल सकता है क्या? अपनी जगह से कट सकता है? शायद 30 साल, 40 साल, 50 साल भी होगा। कश्मीर को या कोई भी अपनी अपनी उस जगह को जहां से उसकी जड़ें जो जुड़ी हुई, जहां उसके पूर्वजों की जमीन है, उसको कोई कैसे भूल सकता है? कोई कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज का व्यक्ति ऐसा नहीं है जो नहीं जाना चाहता। ये हो सकता है कि उसके अपने काम धाम, अपनी व्यस्तताएं कहीं और होंगी, तो वो वहां रहेगा। लेकिन ये राजनीतिक नारेबाजी से बाहर आने वाली बात है। जैसे जैसे वहां पर व्यवस्थाएं होती जाएंगी, पिछले दिनों में हमें याद है 6000 नौकरियां निकाली गई, लोअर डिवीजन क्लर्क की थी, प्राइमरी स्कूल टीचर की थी। जो उस योग्यता के लोग थे वो वहां गए, कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज के लोगों ने नौकरियां ज्वाइन की और वहां जाकर रह रहे हैं। लेकिन जो आज सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर है, वो एलडीसी तो बनने नहीं जाएगा। जिस दिन कश्मीर में सॉफ्टवेयर पार्क खुलेंगे, उस दिन सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर जाएगा। जिस दिन कश्मीर में मेडिकल कॉलेज खुलेगा, उस दिन डॉक्टर प्रोफेसर पढ़ाने जाएंगे। आईआईटी वहां पे खुला है, लोग जा रहे हैं। आईआईएम वहां पर खुला है, लोग जा रहे हैं। इसलिए उनकी योग्यता के आधार पर जब काम करने का अवसर मिलेगा तो वहां लोग जाएंगे। ये नारेबाजी की बात नहीं है, उनके लिए अनुकूल अवसर उत्पन्न करने का काम है, जिसकी गति निश्चित रूप से धीमी होती है। लेकिन जैसे जैसे ये गति बढ़ेगी और लोगों के लिए अवसर वहां पर उपलब्ध होंगे, हम सारी दुनिया में जाते, लोग सीरिया में भी जाकर नौकरी कर रहे हैं, दुबई में भी जाकर नौकरी कर रहे हैं, वहां भी जाएंगे। अपनी भूमि है, अपनी धरती है, अपने लोग हैं, वहां जाएंगे। लेकिन उनके लिए व्यवस्थाएं खड़ी करना ये पूरे देश का काम है, और हम सब मिलकर इसको करेंगे। दूसरी बात मुझे फिर स्मरण आ रहा है, आज पूज्य सरसंघ चालक जी, माननीय मोहन राव जी के साथ कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज का एक इंटरेक्शन का कार्यक्रम रखा गया था, और उन्होंने उसमें कहा कि हिंदू समाज जाएगा, लेकिन उन परिस्थितियों में जाएगा जब पूरी सुरक्षा होगी, अपनी आस्थाओं का पालन करते हुए स्वतंत्र रूप से वहां जाकर रहने की, सम्मान पूर्वक रहने की स्थिति निर्माण की जाएगी। तो कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज भी जाएगा और पूरे देश का हिंदू समाज भी जाएगा। और इसलिए जैसे जैसे प्रगति हो रही है, लोग जा रहे हैं। आज लगभग 10,000 लोग कश्मीर घाटी में हिंदू रह रहे हैं, जो वहां के मूल कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज के लोग हैं। और इसके अलावा भी हिंदुओं की एक बड़ी संख्या जम्मू में भी, कश्मीर में भी रह रही है। कुछ लोग हैं जो छत्तीसगढ़ से, राजस्थान से, झारखंड से जाते हैं, कुछ समय के लिए नौकरियां करने के लिए जाते हैं। कुछ लोग वहां पर स्थायी रूप से वर्षों से भी रह रहे हैं। लेकिन ये परिवर्तन आ रहा है और उसको वहां जाकर महसूस किया जा सकता है। लेकिन इसमें ये जुड़ी हुई बात है कि जैसे जैसे परिस्थितियां होंगी वैसा ही होगा। अब अगली बात जो मुझे आपसे साझा करनी है वो ये है कि अब जब देश का प्रश्न है, ये कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज का प्रश्न नहीं है, ये भारत का प्रश्न है। भारत का प्रश्न है, कश्मीर पर जो कुछ भी हुआ, कश्मीर के हिंदू समाज ने जो कुछ झेला, इसलिए नहीं झेला कि वो कश्मीरी थे, इसलिए झेला कि वो भारतीय थे, इसलिए झेला कि वो भारत में रह रहे थे। पाकिस्तान का हमला कश्मीर पर नहीं हुआ था, पाकिस्तान का हमला भारत पर हुआ था, हमें याद रखना चाहिए। उसकी पीड़ा कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज को है, लेकिन हमला कश्मीर पर नहीं था, हमला भारत पर था। और इसलिए इसका उत्तर भारत को ढूंढना है। भारतीय होने के नाते हम सबको इसका उत्तर ढूंढना है। कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज हमारा एक अंतरंग हिस्सा है, इसलिए हम सब मिलकर इसका सामना करेंगे। और इसलिए जब तक हमारे पड़ोस में ऐसे तत्व रहेंगे, पाकिस्तान होगा या चीन होगा, जब तक हम उनसे कमजोर थे, हम उनसे बात करने की स्थिति में नहीं था, विश्व का जनमत, विश्व का दबाव हमारे ऊपर था, तब तक हम वो जो चाहते थे उसको झुककर स्वीकार करने की मजबूरियां थी। लेकिन आज भारत बदला है। आज का भारत, 2022 का भारत, ये न 1947 का भारत है, न 1990 का भारत है। ये 2022 का भारत है, जो एक महाशक्ति बनने की ओर अग्रसर है, जो दुनिया की आंख में आंख डालकर बात करने की हैसियत रखता है। और इसलिए आज जम्मू कश्मीर पर जो फैसला होगा वो भारत की इच्छा के विरुद्ध नहीं हो सकता। दुनिया में किसी की ताकत नहीं है जो भारत के इच्छा के विरुद्ध जम्मू कश्मीर पर कोई कार्रवाई कर ले। इसलिए भारत के समय है, भारत की शताब्दी है, भारत के अनुकूल ये फैसले होंगे। हमें निर्णय करना है कि हम जम्मू कश्मीर में क्या क्या कब और कैसे करेंगे, हमें ही निर्णय करना है। आदरणीय मुरलीधरन जी हैं और वो बताएंगे। शायद आज नहीं, 10 साल बाद होगा, लेकिन हमें ही तय करना होगा कि नियंत्रण रेखा की दूसरी ओर जो भारत है वो भी भारत है। इसलिए वो भारत इस भारत के साथ कब मिलेगा, ये निर्णय भारत को करना है। दुनिया की तीसरी कोई शक्ति भारत का निर्णय नहीं करेगी। अब मैं अपनी बात को अंतिम बिंदु पर लेकर जा रहा हूं, हम क्या कर सकते हैं। मुझे लगता है जो बातें मैंने कही, भारत के जम्मू कश्मीर में जाने का समय है। वहां पर हम व्यक्तिगत स्तर पर कोई व्यवसाय स्थापित करना चाहते हैं, वहां पर जाकर संस्थान खोल सकते हैं, वहां के लोगों के रोजगार देने के लिए कुछ काम कर सकते हैं। वहां अपनी इंडस्ट्री जो वहां के अनुकूल इंडस्ट्री है, पर्यावरण के अनुकूल है, वहां पर सॉफ्टवेयर का काम बहुत अच्छे ढंग से हो सकता है। वहां पर फ्लोरिकल्चर, वहां पर एग्रीकल्चर, वहां पर फूड प्रोसेसिंग, ऐसे बहुत सारे आयाम हैं जिन पर हम जो उद्योग जगत के लोग हैं वहां पर जाकर कर सकते हैं। वहां पर विकास की, कॉटेज इंडस्ट्री की बहुत बड़ी संभावना है। जो लोग सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप बनाकर काम करते हैं, कर्नाटक में उसका बहुत बड़ा व्याप है। जिनको इस क्षेत्र का अनुभव है वो वहां पर सामूहिक सहकारिता के आधार पर वहां पर कुछ काम खड़े करने का प्रयास करें और वहां के लोगों को प्रशिक्षण दें, तो एक बहुत अच्छा परिवर्तन वहां दिखाई दे सकता है। वहां बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी हैं जो देश को जोड़ने की जरूरत है। वहां पर हमें समझना चाहिए कि 1990 के बाद जब वहां से कश्मीरी हिंदू समाज का एक बहुमत वहां से निकल आया, तो एक पूरी पीढ़ी पैदा हुई है 90 के बाद, जो आज 30 साल, 35 साल, 25 साल वाली है। उसने ये देखा ही नहीं कि उसके पड़ोस में कोई हिंदू भी रहता है या अपने से भिन्न आस्थाओं वालों के साथ भी जीना पड़ता है, पूजा पद्धति के साथ जीना पड़ता है। तो इसलिए भारत को वहां जाकर उनको ये अभ्यास दिलाना है कि भारत में और भी आस्थाएं हैं जिनको कि हम जाने की स्थिति में वहां पर होंगे, तो ये अभ्यास उनको होना चाहिए। और इसलिए हम सब लोगों का वहां आना जाना भी, वहां पे केवल टूरिस्ट की तरह भी जाना, ये भी वहां पर इस पूरे बड़े कॉज के लिए एक छोटा हमारा योगदान है। हम एक बार जम्मू जाएं, 5-7 दिन लगा कर आए, एक बार कश्मीर जाएं, 5-7 दिन लगा कर आए, एक बार लद्दाख जाएं, 5-7 दिन लगा कर आए, और जो वहां से संवादहीनता की स्थिति पिछले कुछ दशकों में हुई है उसको समाप्त करें। और ये जरूर आग्रह करूंगा कि जब कश्मीर जाएं, विशेष रूप से मैं कश्मीर का आग्रह कर रहा हूं, जब भी हम कश्मीर जाएं, गुलमर्ग जाएं, पालगांव जाएं, सोनमर्ग जाएं, खूब जाएं, सब जगह देखें, लेकिन सांस्कृतिक कश्मीर अवश्य देखें। ये मेरा निवेदन है। अगर उसमें से जिसकी जाने की इच्छा हो, पहले से हमसे संपर्क करेंगे, हम उनका टूर भी बनवा सकते हैं। लेकिन सांस्कृतिक कश्मीर जो हजारों वर्षों का कश्मीर है, उसके जो कुछ रिमेन्स हैं और कुछ वास्तविक भी हैं। आपको आनंद होगा जानकर के पिछले 5-6 वर्षों में, अजय भारती जी भी हमारे साथ हैं, वो भी आपको बताएंगे, पिछले 5-6 वर्षों में हमने 26 नए मंदिरों में निर्माण हुआ है। पिछले लगभग अब सभी मंदिरों में पूजा नियमित रूप से होने लगी है। वहां पर खीर भवानी मंदिर, जिसमें स्वामी विवेकानंद 2 बार गए, निवेदिता भी गई है, उस खीर भवानी मंदिर में आज जब वार्षिक मेला होता है तो 20-25 हजार लोग हर साल एकत्र होते हैं। तो ऐसे लगातार वहां पर लोगों के जाने की स्थिति बनी है। पूजा पाठ शुरू हुए हैं, मंदिरों का पुनर्निर्माण शुरू हुआ है। अभी शारदा पीठ, जिसकी चर्चा जिस मंत्र से नमस्ते शारदे देवी से शुरू किया, शारदा पीठ अभी पाकिस्तान के कब्जे वाले हिस्से में है, लेकिन उस जो एक नदी कृष्ण गंगा नदी है जो उस हिस्से को विभाजित करती है, कृष्ण गंगा के इस तट पर स्नान करने के बाद लोग शारदा की यात्रा शुरू करते थे। आपको जानकर आनंद होगा कि इस बार, माने आज की तारीख में मैं कह रहा हूं, उस स्थान पर जहां पर कृष्ण गंगा में स्नान करके शारदा की यात्रा प्रारंभ हुई थी, उस स्थान पर मंदिर का निर्माण शुरू हो गया है इस सप्ताह। और इसलिए हम सब उस सांस्कृतिक कश्मीर के दर्शन अवश्य करने के लिए जाएं। तो इसलिए हम व्यक्तिगत रूप से वहां के संवाद स्थापित करके, हम लोग अंतर्राज्यीय छात्र दर्शन जैसा चलाते रहे हैं, वैसा कल्चरल एक्सचेंज करके वहां के विद्यार्थियों के साथ, नौजवानों के साथ, और आना जाना प्रारंभ करके भारत को जाने के, वहां पर पहुंचने के, भारतीय मूल्यों को स्थापित करने का फिर से अभियान हम ले सकते हैं। इसमें वहां पर बहुत लंबे समय से प्रयास चल रहा है, और अब वहां पर जो लोग औद्योगिक रूप से भी कर रहे हैं उनके लिए भी हमने एक प्रारंभिक व्यवस्था की है। आप जो जिस भी प्रकार से वहां पर योगदान करना चाहें, सबका स्वागत है। और उसके लिए स्थानीय स्तर पर जो कुछ सहयोग करना होगा, इसके लिए जम्मू कश्मीर अध्ययन केंद्र ने पूरी व्यवस्थाएं की हुई हैं। आप जैसा चाहें वैसा संपर्क कर सकते हैं और वैसे योगदान कर सकते हैं। मुझे अवसर दिया इसके लिए बहुत बहुत आभार, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सर। अपने कश्मीर के और कश्मीर वासियों की संघर्ष को सदियों से जैसे वो चला आ रहा है उसके बारे में आपने बताया, और हमें ये भी आपने समझा है कि हर भारतीय कैसे अपना योगदान दे सकता है कश्मीर को पुनर्निर्माण करने के लिए। इसके लिए फिर से मैं आपको आभारी हूँ और अनंत कुमार प्रतिष्ठान की तरफ से आपको धन्यवाद दे रही हूँ। तले दिल धन्यवाद सर, थैंक यू। As Sir said, we have to see the Sanskritic Kashmir. Yes, this is where India lives. This is where Adi Shankaracharya started his journey of the Shakti Pitas, establishment of Shakti Pitas all over the country. Yes, this is where the cauldron of all religions has been happening at Kashmir. This is what we have to know. As Ashutosh ji said, every Indian must go to Kashmir because he is a part of Kashmir. आपने जो कहा कि कश्मीर के बिना भारत अधूरा है, हाँ सर, वो बहुत सही है। कश्मीर के बिना भारत हरदम अधूरा है। Thank you once again, sir. And we have many questions on this talk. We'll be posting it at the end of the events here. I now request Pradeep Pai sir to introduce Shri R.K. Mattu, journalist and chairman, Kashmir Hindu Culture Welfare Trust. Over to you, Pradeep Pai sir.
It's my pleasure to introduce one of the senior most journalists of India, Sri Ramesh Kumar Mattu, R.K. Mattuji. A Kashmiri himself Mattuji has widely traveled across India. He himself has experienced the pain and tribulations of Kashmiri community. Professionally, he was the chief of News Bureau of the Indian Express in Bengaluru. Presently, he is the editor of Spade a Spade, a monthly magazine brought out from Bengaluru. Now, he will be addressing us and narrating his ideas of rebuilding Kashmir. Mattu sir.
Namaskar to all, and let me thank AnanthKumar Pratishthana for giving me this opportunity. And before I start on the topic, I would like to mention a few words about AnanthKumar ji, a great friend of mine with whom I got in contact in 1990 when we were hounded out of Kashmir and we landed here. A lot of families from HMT and ITI, they landed here not in the month of January 1990, but after 6 months after spending time on the footpaths and in the tents of Jammu, finally they were accommodated here. It is that time when I started interacting with AnanthKumar ji. AnanthKumar ji was building the party that time, and there were only two people who were in BJP in Karnataka. That is AnanthKumar ji and Yudhurappa ji. And I used to interact with them. And then it's a history, how they built the party in Karnataka, the two people. And it's an immense job they did and brought the party to power in the southern part of India. That's a commendable job. And the type of concern he had for Kashmiri Pandits. Always we used to talk. I used to go to his house, and Tejaswini ji is there. She used to cook idlis and dosas and all that, and we used to eat. And he would only talk about Kashmir, how to do it. And he used all these things. He was not an MP also at that point of time, but he used all his contacts here and there and establish this thing. And finally, he helped us in every time whenever we had some problem, we used to go to him. And today, the entire Kashmiri Samaj in Bangalore is missing AnanthKumar ji. And definitely, we have a beautiful Bhavan here, which is a replica of, it's a mini Kashmir, because we wanted to establish it here because we lost everything. 32 years is a long time. And then we wanted to have this Bhavan here, and his contribution is enormous. I can't quantify it, but the way he encouraged us, the way he gave his MP funds and this and that, and the way he took us, and we got into litigation here also on this with the same people who hounded us out, and they never wanted us to establish this Hindu Bhavan here. They said, it's it will create communal disharmony. But anyway, after 8 years, we won the battle in the court. And it was only AnanthKumar ji's his encouragement and all that we did it. Now, going back to Kashmir now the topic is very good after the abrogation of Article 370 and also 35A, which nobody thought will go, especially the locals there and the local political parties there, and a lot of people, a lot of politicians in the mainstream also. They thought that it will never go, it is out of question. But thanks to Modi ji, thanks to Amit Shah ji, thanks to BJP government, they did it. And that really gave them a jolt. And this was needed, which was a temporary provision, which was extended, and this thing. But this article, because of this article, a lot of appeasement had happened there and all that. And that had spoiled the entire population there in the last 65 years. Because everything was pumped in, everything, they were. So a lot of damage has happened in the last, from 47 onwards. And pampering this and that resulted in reducing our population from 12% to 4% or 2% in 1991 because of discrimination, because of everything. So Kashmiri Pandits, got neglected because we never joined them, and we always held the flag high up, Indian flag, and we said we are Indians, we will not do it. And we were discriminated, we were targeted, we were this thing, and finally, from 1986 onwards, when the Congress government headed by Mufti Mohammad Said, it aggravated, and finally the exodus started slowly, and we never got employment, we never got any employment opportunities, we never got any educational facilities. We were treated as forward class, and they were all, though they were in majority, they were, all those things is a history now, everybody knows. But thanks to 370, now it has integrated on paper. The state of Jammu and Kashmir now, Ladakh is a union territory also, but anyway, let's talk about the union territory of Jammu and Kashmir. It has integrated. At least it is integrated on paper with India. But it's very difficult to change the minds and change the hearts of the people there. I don't say that everybody's this thing, but everything what was happening, the massacre, the genocide, which was kept under wraps, you know the narrative, you know everything, what all happened. Nobody talked about us. Nobody talked about Kashmiri Pandits. And every time they said they are migrants, small migrants, they'll go back, they'll go back. It's a temporary phase. They have come out, they will go back. They are all migrants. We wanted to be called as internally displaced people. They did not give that tag also to us. The Supreme Court also did not entertain us because the narrative which was created that nothing happened. Some few people here and there, everybody is getting killed there. It's a disturbed place. All the Pakistani elements have come over and they have killed this, which is not a fact. Fact is that it was deliberately with abetted. The whole thing was abetted by the administration there, and also administration in Delhi. The borders were opened up. People were thronging up and down, taking training and coming back. And the local population were so daring that they gave refuge to all these terrorists. They supported them, and which resulted in our genocide. And today also, according to Government of India records, only 80 people have been killed, targeted, which is not a fact. There are more than 700 people who were genocided, who were killed. But anyway, lot of water has flown, and nothing came out, thanks to this movie, which has brought out the truth. It is nothing but the truth. It is my story. It's the story of 5 lakh people. It's the story of every Indian. And we were only apprehensive that it should not happen in any other state of our country. And because we were seeing the writing on the wall in so many states, West Bengal, you call it Kerala, you call it, but we were helpless. We didn't know anything about what to do, how to convey it to them, because people forgot. They said, no, it's a temporary phenomenon. Nothing, you will go back. But 32 years is a long period. Anyway, to cut it short, now with the abrogation of Article 3, it's a welcome move forward. But it has taken 70 years for the things to turn to up to 1990. Now it will take another 50 years for them to change their mind and heart. And then only, this thing. There are 2 aspects now: how to integrate Jammu and Kashmir with India totally and make it as part and parcel of the country, and also how to rehabilitate the displaced people who have lost their everything and who are not, who want to go back, because this is. 2 things are there. We should not consider, as Ashutosh said, we should not consider Kashmir is only Gulmarg, Shikara ride, Pelgam, going on Pani, seeing mountains and coming back. No. Kashmir is the crown. Kashmir is the culture. It's a cultural seat. It's a traditional seat. It's everything about it. It has the oldest civilization. It has a history of 5,000 years. We have the oldest calendar. Oldest civilization is a Hindu civilization from Kashmir. And why this was attacked? This was attacked for obvious reasons, because they wanted to create this as a Islamic state of this thing and destroy the seat of Hinduism, destroy the seat of Hindus, destroy this place of knowledge, destroy this place of culture. They wanted to attack that so that it will be attack on all the Hindus. So now today, because when the things have come out and open now the people of India, now the majority population of India, they have now realized what is Kashmir and what happened then, why this was kept, and why they attacked the seat of knowledge, seat of culture, our tradition. We have got excellent places there. As he rightly said, Ashutosh also said, he said that we should only focus on those things. Very good. A lot of temples have been reopened, but 500 odd temples have been desecrated. And it's only thanks to army. They saved some of the major temples there, like Khir Bhavani, like Shankaracharya, like Jishta Devi, like Martin Temple and all that. Lot of destruction has happened to them. But these are the places of tradition. These are the places of this thing, knowledge, where people have gone. Adi Shankaracharya has gone there. Vivekananda ji has gone there. It's a land of Abhinav Gupta. It's a land of, this thing. So we should not take it as a scenic place, going there and coming back after 3, 4, 5 days. No, every Indian should own it. They should take this as a pride to own Kashmir. Kashmir, our ancestral history. We have to own it. Then only things will improve slowly there. So all that, what he has also said, that we should now try to go, every Indian should go and see their traditions, see their places of culture, see where from we have evolved, what is our background, हमें क्या करना है. See, there is Sharda, as he rightly said, Sharda is in the POK, Muzaffarabad, and now it should be opened up. Government of India should fight for it and say that, at least, like Gurdwara in Amritsar. So they should say that, this is this thing. It is in a very bad condition. Now things are happening, and with our might, and we are a big nation now, and these are the small things which should go there. Otherwise, as a tourist, if we take 10,000 people, 1 lakh people, 2 lakh people every now and then there, and spend money and come back, this is not going to bring our Kashmir back. The Kashmir will come back only when we invest there. All those things have to happen. It will take time, but still you have seen what happened in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Again, they have started when Mohan Bhagwat said that Kashmiris are going to go back and this is our dream. Nothing happened. See, 4, 5, 6 people were killed. Target killing is there. Now going back to this thing, yes, definitely, if more and more employment opportunities and big industries, education institutions, hospitals, everything, if they open up, definitely people will be employed from other this thing. They will go there and teach them. They have to man this. Students will come from all over India. They will go and this thing. So we have to dilute. We have to dilute the population there. We have to make them understand. We have to. Otherwise, it's very difficult to go there and move around freely. When you go there to stay, you will be targeted, even today. But all those fear has to go. Nobody can give security to each and everybody. The things have to improve on its own, and how they can improve, these are the things, certain things which will help us in improving these things. And every Indian should own Kashmir. Kashmir is not a Kashmiri Pandits problem now. We have faced genocide, theek hai, but it is the problem of every Kashmiri, every Hindu of this country to go and retrieve this and see how we can maintain this, our traditional place, and our this thing. So about going back, of Kashmiri Pandits going back, it will take some time. I have my own doubts about it. The day, we were all scattered there. We had lands. Most of the people come from villages where there are 1 or 2 houses surrounded by so many houses of this and that. And we were only cheated by our own neighbors. We know about it. People may not say. They will say that no, nobody. They were nobody but our own neighbors who killed us, who joined hands with the terrorists, handful of terrorists, gave them information and targeted us. We know that. We know that who looted our houses. You ask me as a Kashmiri Pandit. We know that. I can't go back. I don't dare to go back because my house has been occupied by somebody. And Government of India, they came out with a bill saying that, we'll give your properties back, anybody who has distress sales and all that. Nothing is happening because I can't go. The moment they come to know that I have this thing, I get phone calls, I get threatening calls. Every time I can't take a policeman with me and then fight in the Tahsil office there and all that and get my land back and show my documents that this belongs to me and all that, because I'll be targeted. You know what happened in Nadimark when 40 people, when the families went back, they targeted and 24 people were killed. They were kept in a line and killed. Same thing will happen now also. We can't go back to our original places. It's very difficult unless and until their mind changes, which is a dream, far dream. I don't know when their mind will change. We cannot go back to our own ancestral houses and stay there and live with harmony. Like we never lived with harmony. Let me tell you, we always lived with fear, right from 1947 onwards. You ask me as a Kashmiri Pandit, I'm telling you, every Kashmiri Pandit will vouch for it. But that was our motherland. That was our birthplace. We never wanted to leave that. How much of humiliation we have suffered. That is that is anybody's guess. But now, if you want me to go back, I don't think it's immediately possible for me to go back. Government of India has to think about it. They have to dilute the thing. They have to take anybody, any Indian who wants to go and settle there. They have to take them also. They have to take us also, and they have to create a colony, a separate colony for us, because you know what has happened. You know the history of 1,400 years of Islam. And their only motive was to convert this into an Islamic state of Kashmir. And this is going on. And you see what's happening. Our West Bengal, we're bordering with Bangladesh. Our what's happening in Rajasthan, what's happening in Kerala, we're bordering with UAE and all that. See, we should understand the mind also, but we cannot go there as sitting ducks and get killed again. So definitely, these measures, Government of India has to take bold steps, and they have to be very, very aggressive, and they have to be very strict and deal the terrorism with the firm hand. And instead of catching them in this, then they should be eliminated once and for all. After all, they're our own brothers. They're all converts. They are not the original Muslims or something. They're all converts. They have admitted it in this thing. They're our own blood. Our dharma doesn't teach us to take to gun. We suffered for 32 years, but you will not see a single FIR against the Kashmiri Pandit. So similarly, now this is not my fight alone. This is the fight of all the Hindus, the entire population of India, to own Kashmir and to see that all these things don't reoccur, not only in Kashmir, but some other part of the country. And we have got full faith in the current dispensation of Modi ji, under Modi ji. I don't hesitate in saying it. He has come as an avatar, and I'm sure, given a chance and given a time, he will definitely see to it that Kashmir becomes another, seat of knowledge, another seat of culture, another seat of treatment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. The pain, the affliction, the agony of missing your Kashmir was very clearly feelable. We felt that pain, sir, in your words. Yes, sir. As you said, the problem of Kashmir is not only that of Kashmiri Pandits, it is of every Indian. That is what we have to join together and see that this pain or this massacre or this exodus doesn't happen in any other state. Your concern was very much visible, sir. Thank you once again for that.
Thank you.
And let me just say that, sir, Mr. Matuji, that this time for Shivratri, entire other fellow Indians wished Kashmiris Herat Mubarak. This is the awareness that the Kashmir Files or the Talk on Kashmir is giving to other Indians. Thank you once again, sir, for being the part of this dialogue. I now request Pradeep Pai sir to, I hope Muralidharan ji sir has joined. Pradeep Pai sir?
Vijay, what's the status? Yeah, we can go ahead with Rainaji, and then we can, at the end, we can have Muralidharan ji.
Yes, sir. Okay. Pradeep Pai sir, I request you to introduce Shri Girdhari Lal Reina ji, ex-MLC, Jammu and Kashmir State. Over to you, sir.
It's my privilege to introduce Girdhari Lal Raina ji. He's also known as Ajay Bharti. He's a journalist, and I think he's the third journalist on the stage now. Matuji is also a journalist, Ajay Bharti ji is also a journalist, and even our own Ashutosh ji. Ajay Bharti joined RSS during his very young age. I think it's around 5 decades ago, and he served as a pracharak also for about 4 years. He was the editor of Swadeshi Patrika for about a decade, till he was elected as a member of the upper house. That is, he got elected as the MLC in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. He got elected in April 2017 and was MLC till October 2019, when the erstwhile state was reorganized and the Legislative Council was dissolved. He has been watching Jammu Kashmir and its politics for decades now. He is actively involved in addressing the issues pertaining to the displaced community from Kashmir. Rainaji is associated from its inception and continues to be an important member of the central team of Jammu and Kashmir Study Center, as he is one of the most forward-thinking political minds in the valley, and his achievement during his short tenure as MLC was outstanding. Today, he is a valuable and most sought-after public person in the valley. Now, he will be addressing us and informing us briefly about the ground situation beyond the Kashmir Files. Rainaji, please take over.
Namaskar. To begin with, thank you to have organized this event on the 8th day of New Year of Saptarishi Samvat 5078. This is 5078th year of Saptarishi Samvat which we observe in Kashmir. I thank Revered Krishna Bhattji, Professor Krishna Bhattji, Tejaswani ji, respected Ashutosh ji, Muralidharan ji, and all those. We have been part of the same ideological frame and have been working it for decades. And I have no hesitation in saying a couple of things. First, what Kashmir Files has shown is just a part of it. It is not even 10% of what has happened in Kashmir. And also that the process in one way or the other continues. But if the Hindus and the displaced community from Kashmir have been able to survive, and if Kashmir is, Jammu and Kashmir is what it is today, and what if we are seeing any hope, it is only because of the nationalistic community of India. It is the nationalistic people of India. Maybe government ignored it at that time, but the people from Jammu to Kanyakumari, they welcomed us, they hosted us with open hearts. Jammu was a very small place where there was hardly any infrastructure, but the people of Jammu kept open their rooms. If they had 2 rooms, they kept one for the people coming from Kashmir. So that is one we have been able to survive because of that help. Otherwise, it would have not been possible to even exist. That is one. Second, if terrorism was blocked, resisted, it is again because of the efforts of this ideological framework. I may proudly recall the Vidyarthi Parishad March, ABVP, in the defense of the country, when almost 10,000 students from rest of the country reached Jammu to say no to the terrorism. Again, Ekta Yatra or the Doda Bachao Andolan by the Bharatiya Janata Party. This was because the government dispensation at that particular time was only interested in pushing things under carpet. It was because of this nationalistic community, nationalist people of India, that the real nature of terrorism, which we were told was the freedom struggle, the real nature of it is communal nature, it is criminal nature, was exposed to the world. And today we see that the terrorists and the supporters of terrorists, which started by the sentiment of separatism and reached to an extent of secessionist movement from India, was not only curbed but has been put particularly very pertinently defeated almost, and the people pursuing that stream have almost accepted the defeat. Speaking after Ashutosh ji is very difficult because he has such a vast knowledge and have been actually one of the reasons responsible for elimination of this separatist constitutional mechanism, because it was the efforts of Jammu Kashmir Study Center, which not only talked about the legal problems of Article 370 and the 35 capital A, but also the civilizational awareness. I am sure some people must be knowing that when we took Abhinav Sandesh Yatra, remembering or memorizing 1000th year of Acharya Abhinav Gupta. I also was part of that and had been in Bengaluru also. So one thing is very clear, that the nationalist people have always been there and will always be there to ensure that civilizational ethos of Kashmir and Indianness of Kashmir, the local manifestation of Indianness, which is with Kashmirian, is protected, and not only protected, is also spread to other parts where it is in some problem these days. The ground reality, if we have to check, we can see in 2-3 symbolic ways. Some of them have been mentioned by Adarniya Ashutosh ji, Tirangaya. You must be remembering that two chief ministers, former chief ministers of this Jammu and Kashmir state, were telling the world that there will not be a shoulder to take Tiranga. But this year itself, on the 15th of August, there is a lot of images are there, but one particular image is of that 100-meter Tiranga Yatra, 100-meter Tiranga by students of ABVP, students connected with ABVP, all of them Muslims, took it from Dalgate through Gupkar, not of Gupkar gang, but that road where all these former politicians are living, and they took it through those streets and show to the world that people of Kashmir are also nationalists. Maybe yes, they were being terrorized, they were being punished, they were being isolated because of both dispensation in Jammu and Kashmir and also in the Delhi. But after 2014, in general, and particularly after 2019, when this separatist mechanism of the Article 37 and 35A was done away with, we have seen a new hope. And this time, when Kashmir Files was being opposed by the ecosystem and the cabal, left liberalist cabal, you must have been surprised to see that there were very powerful voices, very reasonable voices, not emotional only, but very convincing voices from Kashmir, from Muslim community also, speaking in favor of it and accepting that some of them even apologizing for what happened in 1990. Things are changed. It is not that it has changed entirely. As was I mentioned earlier, that temples are being repaired, civilizational connect is being re-established, and even broken bonds are being rebuilt, but still lot of things need to be done. Particularly when we talk of Bangalore and Karnataka, Karnataka has a long connection. Karnataka and Kashmir have been practically connected for a long time. In fact, if we have this picture image of pen picture image of Acharya Abhinav Gupta, it is because of Guru Natha from southern part of the country, who came all the way in the 10th century from that part to Kashmir to become disciple of Acharya Abhinav Gupta, and described him in his shlokas to tell us how he looked like. So the connection is deep. But how can we do it? Before coming to those things, I will again like to share with you that in the governance now in Jammu and Kashmir, there has been a tremendous change. I don't know, you have ever heard that some employees, government employees, are being sacked simply because they were part of this separatist cabal. It was unheard of till now, till 2019. Never happened in last 70 years. But the administration now is taking stern action and is, in fact, I may dare to say that it is from 2019 onwards that India has started or has begun to fight terrorism and separatism in Kashmir. Till then, we were just pretending. Yes, 2014 onwards, we were preparing for the ground, but now we are actually fighting, and we have only to win it. There is no other way, because when we start fighting, those who were they were being rewarded till now, but now they are on the run. Yesterday, Jama Masjid of Srinagar was opened after a long time because of Corona. Some young persons raised slogan there. Today, 13 of them are in jail. They have already been. Administration is so quick and it is not easy to have done. Motuji talked about lands. May I inform the friends here that already more than 600 properties, encroached properties have been returned to their rightful owners. The process is difficult. There is no doubt about that. I am repeating it again and again that administration and the local population there, a lot of people are trying to create impediments in that, but government is also firm and is ensuring not only that the properties which have been illegally encroached, properties belonging to individuals, properties belonging to community, temples, shrines, ashrams, they also are being retrieved and are being rebuilt and are being redeveloped in a manner that in future they become productive centers of both culture and economically viable also. So a lot of things have, even cultural minister of culture and they have taken these archival archaeological important sites which were till now being totally ignored. The rich heritage of past which tells us about Kashmir and its past, glory past. They are being rebuilt and preserved and developed in a manner that they are protected for future generations also. So that is happening on one. Transparency in government, that was unheard of in Jammu and Kashmir. Now it is the buzzword. Corrupt politicians, several of them are now in jail. So things are being put in right direction and right frame. The only thing is that we all, right, all Indians, nationalists, they have to be part of this effort. We can do so many things. Some of them have been mentioned by the Ashutosh. I will also like to add to that. First, most important thing is this civilizational connect, which is to be resurfaced. In fact, even Hindus of Kashmir were not, younger generations, particularly I talk of even myself, we were not so much aware because we were never told what was real past of Kashmir. Kalhana was never taught in Kashmir. I mean, it is don't talk about Abhinav Gupta. I am talking about Kalhana, the historian. We were never told that he belonged to this Kashmir, and we are proud progeny of such great learned people. But after this change in government in New Delhi, after this regime change, we have seen even Muslims taking in pride in that. Some students studying Kashmir Shaivism as their higher studies, choosing this subject also as in their subject. Now the language, official language of Jammu and Kashmir have been, it is not just Urdu, which otherwise was not spoken by anyone here. It was only because of that separatist mindset that Urdu was taken as official language. Now Hindi, Dogri, and English also and Urdu also, they are the official languages of Jammu and Kashmir. So first thing is that we must take this awareness to the every corner of the country and tell that what the real Kashmir means. It is not the Kashmir of invaders only. There are now voices who are saying that those who came from these Ashrafi Muslims are separate. They do not take care of Pasmanda Muslims, the backward, underprivileged Muslims of this country. They never talked about the what we call as other backward classes. Now the other backward classes here are being taken care of. Similarly, Gujars, ST community here, they were never given what was due to them. This is only after 2009. So when we talk of this civilizational ethos in every respect of the word, that will be one of the most important contributions. Second important contribution, in my opinion, will be, of course, this needs to be deliberated at several levels, but I will just like to point out that army personnel from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Kerala to Kamru, They have all sacrificed their lives in Jammu and Kashmir. They were never even rewarded here. Now they are entitled to be domiciles of this country, this state, this union territory, and they are eligible for every benefit. We must make them aware that they can come and become domiciles, they can have professional colleges, admissions here, they can have jobs here, they can serve here. So this is one of the things I think we can do, and take this awareness level to all these people who, because a simple army man may not be aware of such thing, or his family may not be aware of these things, so we can take it to them.
Rainaji, sorry to interrupt you. V. Muralidharanji has already joined the program. Just I wanted to inform you. So after yours, he will be speaking. So please.
But I will be concluding in a couple of minutes. Thank you. Then welcome to Muralidharanji. Have been meeting them in Vidyarthi Parishad also. So this is another one aspect. Sharda Connect is also there, Saraswat Brahmanas and all that. So we can have a large number of people visiting Sharda also, because people from Kashmir to Kanyakumari are worshippers of devotees of Ma Sharda. So that yatra can be, it can be more this voluminous than even Amarnath Ji yatra. These links can be re-established, and we can have our say, because we have a lot of lands and property, immovable property belonging to temples and shrines in Kashmir. Even at this point of time, we can rebuild, we can be partners in those. Then people of Jammu and Kashmir also. If I take just one aspect, Divyang Janas. Divyang Janas are more than 10-12 lakhs at present by rough estimates, and they need help. We can be partners in making their life more easily. This government, our government, has done wonders in that aspect. Just to mention that two people, one Javed Tak from Kashmir, Divyang Jan, he was awarded Padma Shri. This year, Nari Shakti Puruskar was given to another Kashmiri girl here in Jammu also. So this is the aspect. We can train, because the private sector has never been allowed in Jammu and Kashmir to progress and develop. So then jobs always have been in government sector only. 56% capital expenditure because of government only. So we need to change this. Private investments, as was mentioned earlier, in even small scale cottage industries, and we can help people become entrepreneurs and evolve as job providers. People are very conscious, they are educated, they are rich in skills also, but they need handhold. And last of it is the emotional kind. We need to tell common Kashmiri, the Pasmanda Kashmiri, this deprived Kashmiri who has been told all wrong things about him. These Ashrafi Muslims who came from outside, who were invaders, they do not even marry, they do not even interdine with them. We need to tell them that you belong to a rich past. Yours is a glorious past. So we need to rebuild those avenues, and it is possible. Some work is already going on that. We can be partners in that. I think the most of it will become what Ashutosh suggested. If we start visiting Jammu and Kashmir, both Jammu as well as Kashmir, and even Ladakh also, then we for ourselves will see scope that what work we can be able to do, where we can be able to partner. We can be direct partners, active partners, or even we can be helpers, silent partners from other parts of the country where we live at present. We may need not to shift. With respect to the displaced community of Kashmiri Hindus, the Kashmiri Pandits, it is not just Pandits, all of us are Hindus. Before their physical relocation, certain steps, as has been mentioned, they need to be taken. For example, putting them at places. May I mention just one example? Kashmir University. Why can't it have a Kashmiri Hindu vice chancellor? They are qualified people. If they can become vice chancellors in Banaras, in Karnataka, in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. Why not in Kashmir? That will begin that interaction. We have advocates on record. We can, because all the displaced educators are from Kashmir bar associations, different district bar associations, they can be engaged so that contractors, when we have to build, say, even in army and all that, we can have these on so that they start rebuilding their economic life also. Once economic gets rebuilt, security will be taken care of. There is no doubt about that. It is not now the Kashmir of 90s. It is the Kashmir of post 2019. Yes, some incidents may happen now and then, but at the same time, even local police is now doing a tremendous job. If we have to change the mentality, we need to interact with them and to tell them in clear cut terms that what was past cannot be repeated. Now, as Pujneswar Singh Chalakji said, refoulement will not be allowed. So once Hindu returns back, he has to live a dignified, secure, and a free life there, pursuing his religion, his occupation, whatever he likes, and in whatever manner he likes. With these words, I once again thank all of you for giving me an opportunity to be part of this event. Thank you and namaskar.
Thanks, Raina ji, for your very concerned and very experienced words. I invite Shri V. Muralidharan ji to this August 8th edition of the National Nation First Dialogue Series. Let me introduce Muralidharan ji formally. We know him very much, and many of us have worked with him. Even then, I want to introduce him. Muralidharan ji is known as Murali Atan and is a ABP Karyakarta since his high school days. He was Taluk President, then District Secretary of ABVP Kannur, and later when he became the full-time worker of ABVP at the age of 25. He was ABP full-time worker for more than 25 years, and he started as a Vibhag Organizing Secretary, then State Organizing Secretary of Kerala, and also he was the National Secretary of Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad. During his days, ABP days, and also later when he started working with BJP, he had a very close association with Shri AnanthKumar ji. As he comes from Kerala, and Muraliji also faced political and physical hostility like every other nationalist Karyakarta faced in Kerala. But nothing stopped Muraliji to take forward and march forward towards his commitment, and still he is instrumental in strengthening the organization at grassroots levels. He is also known as an intellectual activist, and he has authored a book about reforms in higher education. Post ABVP, he was appointed as the Vice Chairman of the Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangat in 1999, and later he was the Director General of the same organization between 2002 and 2004. At that period, he was the chief coordinator of Ganatantra 50 celebrations in the year 2000. In the year 2000, when Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was the Prime Minister, and that particular program was the concept was steered by AnanthKumar ji, and Murali ji was the chief coordinator of that. When he was the NYKS Director General, he started a project called National Reconstruction Corps, NRC. As we know, after he joined BJP, he became the state president of Bharatiya Janata Party Kerala, then the national convener of NGO cell of BJP, All India Prashikshan cell convener, and he has shown himself, proved himself as an effective organizer. Presently, Muraliji is the Rajya Sabha member from Maharashtra and a successful Union Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs and External Affairs. An inspiring orator, Muralidharan ji will be addressing us at this 8th edition of the National First Dialogue. And before he starts, I would like to give him the glimpse of what happened in last 1.5 hours. Muraliji, you have already heard Girdharilal Rainaji. Before him, Ashutoshi of Jammu Kashmir Study Center and senior journalist Ramesh R.K. Muttuji also addressed the gathering. Both felt that cultural civilization interactive connect is most important to for the present Kashmir rebuilding. Every Indian should take ownership of this issue, and Jammu Kashmir Study Center will facilitate every person, people to people connect in Kashmir. This is what Ashutosh has mentioned. Now I request Murali ji to address this August gathering. Murali ji.
Namaskaram to all of you. The speakers in this Nation First dialogue, Sri Ashutosh Bhatnagar ji, Sri Girdharilal Raina ji, Sri R.K. Mattu ji, Sri Sahana Vijay Kumar ji, and other senior dignitaries like P.V. Krishnabhat ji, who have joined. I can see him. Pradeep Pai, who is coordinating this today's event. I feel privileged to take part in the 8th edition of the Nation First Dialogue, organized by the AnanthKumar Pratishthana. Let me also appreciate the organizers of this event, Tejaswini ji, Aishwarya and Vijay also, for this dialogue on Jammu and Kashmir, especially in the backdrop of the unprecedented progress in the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh after the abolition of Article 370. Let me recall, before I go to the subject, recall the invaluable contributions made by Sri AnanthKumar ji, a remarkable leader who dedicated his life to the service of the nation and served with utmost diligence and compassion. I have very fond memories of working with him as a colleague in ABUP, and then under his direction in the Nehru Yuva Kendra, as Pradeep Pai mentioned about the Republic 50 and the National Reconstruction Corps. AnanthKumar ji, as a nationalist and committed leader, will be remembered for his invaluable contributions to the nation. Friends, coming to the topic, Article 370 was a temporary and transient provision which was used by the family-run parties, the Congress at the center, and other parties in Jammu and Kashmir for far too long. It hampered the progress of the state, and the separate status led to separatism. It led to militancy, and it also led to radical Islam spreading its wings with the help of an enemy nation. Kashmir under Article 370 saw human rights violated. They did not even have a human rights commission. It didn't have a women's commission. The SC/ST commission was not there. Family-run political parties that ruled Jammu and Kashmir for over 7 decades betrayed locals, misled and misguided them to keep power in their own hands. They inflicted betrayal and hatred among the people of Jammu and Kashmir as well as Ladakh in the name of Article 370. That betrayal led to the persecution of Hindus whose horrors could not come to light owing to the ruling government's patronage for a section of society that was persecuted. The horrors continued for years. The transient position was used by the select international media with the help of dynastic ruling parties in the valley to sabotage our national interests. It was used to carry out a genocide on Kashmiri Pandits and force them out of their homeland. No dynamic nation could allow such a situation to continue. India, under the dynamic leadership of Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji and Home Minister Sri Amit Shah ji, corrected the historical wrong once and for all. Friends, an entire ecosystem has been in the works to hide the truth. That ecosystem got exposed after the movie The Kashmir Files. They are now, in a way, I can say they are rattled. Most of the instances that made it to the film were already in the public domain and are based on facts. But why would facts matter to the ecosystem that not only has preconceived notions, but has an agenda? The other day, Prime Minister was speaking in our parliamentary party. He was explaining about the reluctance of the ecosystem over presenting history and historical figures in the right perspective, which has led to the delayed recognition of even Mahatma Gandhi. See, when Attenborough produced the film, ultimately, a foreigner had to come and produce a film on the father of the nation after decades of being an independent India. That's why he mentioned those who always carry the flag of freedom of expression stand rattled after the release of the film. There are many films made by Bollywood in the same time frame of 1990s when all these issues happened. None of those films even mention Kashmiri Pandits, as if they never existed. More so, these films justified a narrative that matches the narrative of the dynastic rulers of the valley. Instead of assessing the film, now about the film, if I were to say, I would say that instead of assessing the film based on facts, a campaign is being run to discredit it. The entire ecosystem opposes anyone who dares to show the truth. In fact, the producer tried to depict what he thought was the truth. But there is a reluctance to understand or accept the truth. The conspiracy during the days of the release of the film was to ensure that no one sees the truth. In fact, the issue, I would say, is not, the PM was telling that the issue is not the film, but bringing out the truth for the good of the country. That's what PM was telling in the parliamentary party meeting. So this freedom of expression brigade would never answer why no film was made on emergency. Because there was a continuous effort in the country to bury the truth. Why there is no film ever made on the blunders of partition? Millions of people were displaced and many lost their lives due to mindless hate and violence caused by the partition. When the government of India announced that 14th August will be observed as Partition Horrors Remembrance Day, the same brigade objected to it because the truth about August 14 would expose them. They forgot the fact that the freedom of expression guaranteed by the Constitution is for every citizen and that truth will ultimately prevail. These so-called elites, or some people call them as Khan Market gang in Delhi, made their best efforts to show that Kashmir in a bad light. They never allowed the common people to aspire for better living standards or opportunities. The historic blunders of special status under Article 370 and Article 335A had cost the country both politically and financially. No industries, just now Mr. Raina was mentioned, no industries, hardly any private sector hospital, no credible educational institution was set up in the private sector. India's most beautiful state has not had investments from even the hotel chains. Consequently, there were no new jobs for the local people and no revenue for the state. The government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji corrected that historical wrong in 2019, August 5th. With respect to the abolition of the Article 370, Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and Home Minister Amit Shah ji had achieved what was remarkable. They have accomplished but what Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, the founder of Bharatiya Janasangh, started way back during when he was alive and was found dead under mysterious circumstances in jail. Dr. Mukherjee had defied the entry permit order of the government on the J&K border and quoted arrest chanting, "Ek desh mein do vidhan, do pradhan, do nishan nahi chalegi." He was taken to Srinagar jail, where he died under mysterious circumstances on 23rd June 1953. The public mood in support of the new Kashmir policy of the government was so strong that several opposition parties had to succumb to the public opinion. I was personally present when the bill was moved on 5th August morning of 2019. And when the Home Minister moved that bill, those who came into the well, those who screamed, yelled, shouted slogans, by afternoon, they all became silent. A very fruitful, very silent, very meaningful discussion happened in Rajya Sabha, where it was presented. And ultimately, it was approved by 2/3 majority. Abolition of Article 370 ensured that just as the rule of law prevails in other parts of the country, it would equally prevail in the Kashmir Valley. As illustrated by former Finance Minister Sri Arun Jaitley ji, after the abolition of Article 370, and I quote him, "Any citizen of India can now settle and invest in Jammu and Kashmir, ushering in jobs and development," unquote. It paved the way to truly integrate Jammu and Kashmir with Indian Union. As a result, all the rights enshrined in the Constitution of India and benefits of all the central laws that were being enjoyed by other citizens of the country are made available to the people of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. With both Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh as union territories, Jammu and Kashmir not permanently, directly under the center, the Narendra Modi government unfolded an ambitious roadmap of peace and progress, ushering in a new era of inclusive development and transparent governance in the entire region. I had the opportunity to visit Jammu and Kashmir, especially the troubled areas, twice after the Article 370 was withdrawn. Under the Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi's leadership, Jammu and Kashmir has gone through rapid growth and transformation. A grassroots democratic setup was established in Jammu and Kashmir for the first time in the entire period of its existence. The district development councils came into existence only now. And the Gram Panchayat elections, more than 30,000 public representatives have become part of the democratic system, which is a matter of great pride for Jammu and Kashmir and the entire nation. Now, the panchas and sarpanchas, block panchayats and jilla panchayats in every village of Jammu and Kashmir are taking the villages on the path of development. Unjust laws have been removed, and over 890 central laws are reaching the people of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. After independence for the first time, a mass movement has been initiated to curb corruption and bring transparency to every sector. A central sector scheme for industrial development in the Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir has been notified on 19th February 2021 with a total financial outlay of 28,400 crores up to the year 2037, which provides for 4 types of incentives. And those 4 incentives are: one is capital investment incentive, second is capital interest subvention, third is the goods and service tax linked incentive, and fourth is the working capital interest subvention. With the various incentives associated with the augmentation of new industrial units and expansion of existing units under the scheme, it's anticipated to generate direct employment opportunities for about 78,000 people with employment in the primary sector, including agriculture, horticulture, sericulture, animal husbandry and dairy, inland fisheries, etc., through backward linkages including gainful engagement of women at household in craft, handicraft and handlooms during the scheme period. In addition to being a hilly region in the Himalayas with remoteness, Jammu and Kashmir region has other disadvantages that makes it geostrategically unique. The government has instituted robust security and intelligence grid along with proactive operations against terrorists. Security situation in Jammu and Kashmir has improved substantially, and there has been a significant decline in terrorist incidents and infiltration of terrorists from across the border. For example, the estimated net infiltration, which stood at 143 in 2018, came down to 34 in 2021. The number of terrorist incidents, which was 417 in 2018, came down to 221 in 2021 in 3 years. The number of terrorists killed, that also came down from 257 in 2018 to 180 in 2021. The government has taken several steps to boost the development of Jammu and Kashmir. Some of these measures are the progress of projects being implemented in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir under the Prime Minister's Development Package 2015 has been accelerated. 53 projects of 15 ministries are being implemented at rupees 58,477 crores in various sectors such as roads, power, health, education, tourism, agriculture, skill development, etc. Out of which 25 projects have been completed or substantially completed. A new central sector scheme has been notified for the industrial development of the Union Territory of Jammu Kashmir with an outlay of, as I mentioned earlier, 28,400 crores. It will employ over 4.5 lakh people while boosting the industrial development of Jammu and Kashmir. 100% saturation has been achieved in 17 individual beneficiary-centric schemes, including Saubhagya, Ujjwala, and Indradhanush schemes. During the year 2020-21, 1,289 road construction works were completed at a cost of 1,638 crores. The construction work of 14,500 kilometers of roads has been completed so far under Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, which has connected about 2,000 villages. Work has been taken up for setting up of an All India Institute of Medical Sciences each in Jammu and Kashmir divisions at rupees 2,000 crores each, besides 7 other medical colleges in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Indian Institute of Jammu and Kashmir of Jammu and Indian Institute of Management Jammu have been made functional. 21 hydropower projects with an aggregate capacity of 5,186 megawatt have been taken up for development in the next 5 years. The international flight from Srinagar to Sharjah has been started on October 23rd, 2021. In addition, night flights from Jammu and Srinagar have also been started. The scope of the high density plantation scheme for apple has been expanded to include mango, lychee, cherry, walnut, etc. Kashmiri saffron has been given the geographical indication, that is the GI tag, under fast track recruitment, and now Kashmiri saffron and Kashmiri apple goes to international markets. I was there in Middle East where people told me that we are getting Kashmiri saffron, we are getting Kashmiri apple. Under the fast track recruitment, 26,330 posts have been identified in various departments in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and taken up for recruitment. Presently, selection process has been completed for 11,324 posts. Regarding the boost to the local economy and employment opportunities, The government of India, led by Prime Minister Sri Narendra Modi ji, is committed to the welfare of the youth of Jammu and Kashmir. As per the information received from the Government of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and the Ministry of Home Affairs, industrial investment proposals worth approximately rupees 50,000 crores have been received by the Government of UT and Jammu and Kashmir, where before 2019, nothing was there. As many as 1,37,870 youth have been assisted in their entrepreneurial ventures under various self-employment schemes and programs. This is simply only in terms of employment opportunities in J&K. Reservation to the economically weaker sections of society in jobs and educational institutions has been applied to Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. The change has brought about socio-economic development in both the new UTs, that is the UT of Jammu Kashmir and the UT of Ladakh. The Team Modi adopted an integrated approach to building a state-of-the-art infrastructure and unleashed a slew of fast-track social welfare and employment generation schemes and programs, especially among the small, medium and micro enterprises, including cottage, handicraft, handloom and horticultural enterprises, aimed at a comprehensive growth and socio-economic emancipation of the deprived sections of the society in all these distinct regions. The abrogation of Article 370, and I would like to add one more point, that is not limited to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. In this year's budget, the finance minister announced a scheme of vibrant villages. Vibrant villages that was meant to for where our border villages were getting depopulated. We find out the reasons for that, how to develop those border villages. Of course, the benefit of that will be there for Jammu and Kashmir also. The abrogation of Article 370 and bifurcation of the state into 2 union territories have given the local communities in all 3 regions a greater sense of participation in public discourse. With the conduct of elections to the Panchayat Raj institutions such as the Panchas and Sarpanchas to the district development councils, the 3-tier system of grassroots level democracy has now been established in Jammu and Kashmir for the first time. Ladakh is witnessing an unprecedented boost to infrastructure development with all-weather roads and highway networks coming up in a big way in difficult terrains and strategic locations. The Atal Tunnel, you might have, those who are attending this dialogue might have heard the details, have understood the details of the Atal Tunnel. Domestic and international tourism promotion has been given a big push in Ladakh also. Government schemes paving for phenomenal growth in its farm-based economy through enhanced agriculture and livestock activities. Today, there is greater awareness about women's rights and girls' education in Kashmir as well as in Ladakh. Youth in the valley are joining security forces and civil services and excelling in the field of education and sports. 20,322 posts at various levels have been identified and referred to the Jammu and Kashmir Service Selection Board for recruitment. The process has already commenced. Besides this, 1,850 appointments have been made in J&K Bank alone at various levels fairly and transparently again. People are coming forward to join hands with the local administration in isolating anti-social elements and exposing Pakistan-sponsored attempts at the radicalization of youth. Under the guidance of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji and Honorable Home Minister Shri Amit Shah ji, a blueprint to unlock investment flows from compliance and restrictions and a coherent framework has been put in place. It will harness the immense natural resources and economic potential of Jammu and Kashmir and provide scope to make Jammu and Kashmir an investment destination. The Gulf Countries Investment Summit held in Srinagar very recently, and the visit of CEOs of top companies, entrepreneurs, startup representatives, and exporters was an expression of confidence of the industry leaders in the potential for business cooperation between Jammu Kashmir and Gulf countries. Many foreign companies from UAE have announced the long-term plans for Jammu and Kashmir. India is ready to take the relationship to a qualitatively new level and strengthen our economic partnership. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate the fact that after the provisions of Article 370 and 35A of the Constitution were made inoperable, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh have been witnessing progress, and it is going to remain the same way. With these words, let me conclude. Namaskaram to all of you.
Over to Vijay.
Pardon?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was a very detailed description of the activities that has been taken by the government of India to rebuild Kashmir. That's really wonderful efforts and wonderful policies, programs that the government of India under the able leadership of Narendra Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, and all other statesmen have initiated. That thank you, sir. Thank you once again for joining us. Though you are very busy in your work, thank you once again.
I had a few programs which got a little bit delayed, and it had its cascading effect. That's why I couldn't join in the beginning. So I had this online arrangement in the same place where I had the just previous program. After it, I have just joined. So I would apologize for the delay in joining.
Sir, we are happy that you are able to join us.
धन्यवाद आप आए. It was nice. Muralidharan ji. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. So can I quit? Because there are some other engagements.
Yes, sir. No problem. We will just continue with some question answers are there.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Pai sir, you are muted. Pradeep Pai sir.
Yeah, Vinay, you can take one. I think it's already 2014, I mean 8:14. So one or two questions, I think we can take, and we can then go to the valedictory.
In fact, there are plenty of questions which
I
have been
know.
posted. Okay, if we start taking them up one by one, I'm sure that the day will not be enough because so many questions are there. I'll just read out some of the questions.
Tejaswini madam, what's your suggestion? Should we go for question answer session?
No, the ones which are there in the chat, actually the second question is covered.
Yeah, many things are already covered now.
Yeah, quite of them are covered. The only then go. Yeah, the last one.
Ma'am, before the questions, I request all the participants to switch on their camera video for a picture. Minister of State Muralidharan ji left, but if all others can switch on the video, it will be really good for the picture and a memorable event. The organizing team will be taking the photograph now.
Pradeep ji, there are no questions such. All those points are covered. The one which.
Yeah, only one. I think only one question. I think Ashutosh ji can answer. That is, there is an apprehension about Pandits, Kashmiri Pandits returning to their homes. I mean, the reasons are very genuine. So, Ashutosh ji, how can you answer it, or is there any words of direction from you? Oh, he lost. We lost him. His connect. I mean, he lost his network.
No, Ashutosh ji is there, sir. He's there.
He's there, but I think he's on mute. Ashutosh ji, he's on mute.
No, there is a
Ashutosh
network
sir, would you
down
please
signal.
click on the
There is
video?
a network down signal is showing.
Ajay Bharti ji can take that question.
Yes.
What
Yeah,
Ajay
sure.
is saying. Yeah.
I suppose instructions are very clear. Intentions are also very, very clear. They will not be taken back. We as community will not be taken back in haste. Things will be first put in order, and it will be ensured that no refoulement is possible. So unless and until community will not be asked to return, but yes, the process, the steps which are required before taking the community physically are being taken. They are being further steps need to be taken, and I am sure that this government is aware of this, and the forces behind this, they are very aware of this, as was told to us by Pujne Sarsang Chalak ji on this very New Year day, the first Cheta of this year. So I do not need to, I don't think we need to be apprehensive about that. Those who are handling the issue are very mature and know the risks also and know the challenges also. They know how to handle it.
Okay. Yeah. Over to Veena ji for the continuing of the program.
Sir, shall I post one more question?
To whom?
Ma'am, you are muted. You're unmute, please.
Sorry, I'm sorry. If Ashutosh ji or Raina ji, if they can speak about that, answer that, it would be really nice.
Question, please.
Yes, sir. There is a question, how can I help the Pandits return to their homes with the security and mental peace without creating another Jerusalem in India?
It is Shrikant Channel MTech, right? Yeah, he's there. Shrikant Channel is there.
Yeah, Raina ji can take it.
Yes, sir. Yes, as was told by both Ashutosh and me also in the opening remarks, that we need to create awareness about the reasons why we were taken out, why the community was forced out. And in that sense, the civilizational awareness, civilizational consciousness, and the fake narrative which is being pushed, that needs to be fought in at all levels. You must have heard, I don't know if you have heard or that, just yesterday, the court ordered charges to be framed against the SIT, which investigated the fake narrative being pushed at this Samba when a Gujar girl was raped, and Hindu forces were blamed for that. So this fake narrative, or as was mentioned earlier, that only 89 Muslim Hindus were killed. All this is fake. When we fight this and help truth come out and help civilizational consciousness, what Kashmir really is. Kashmir did not come into existence in 14th century. It is thousands of years old, and it is the local manifestation of Indianness. भारतीयता भारतीयता का एक ही सुंदर उदाहरण है ये। जब हम इसको फैलाते हैं तो हिंदू अपने आप में उसके खिलाफ जो वहां पर प्रोपेगेंडा हो रहा है, उसके खिलाफ जो वहां एक्शंस होते हैं, वो अपने आप रुक जाती है। दूसरा, जब वहां पर कोई गवर्नमेंट, व्हेन गवर्नमेंट टेक सर्टेन एक्शन, से फॉर एग्जांपल एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ कॉलोनीज, लोकल दिस सेपरेटिस्ट this ecosystem and cabal, they resist those steps. We need to physically, I don't think we are still in a position where a person can come and help us reach valley. We need to take those steps which are prerequisite before physical relocation. And so this civilizational consciousness and issues regarding them, the fake narrative that needs to be fought, and physically when we create this ashrams, temples, shrines which we are being rebuilt, we can be part of those initiatives, so that people coming there, and they can be the places where we can rebuild our lives once again. I think in those respects anyone can be of great help.
There was one, I think one more question is there, whether there are sufficient, sufficient Pandits there to, because now the daily puja has started. The question is whether there are sufficient Pandits to perform the puja there, is the question asked by Divakarji.
Right now, when we are talking here, 3 yajnas at almost 8-10 places, but 3 prominent places, yajna is being performed right now. It is being in the Kali Mandira, in the one of the remotest shrines in a forest, deep forest at Handwara, in Baramulla, Shailaputri temple. It is going Sharika Mandir temple. Puja is going in most of the temples now. But yes, more needs to be done on that, because there are a lot of, almost 1,000 of them which have remained unattended for almost 3 decades. They need a gradual improvement and gradual rebuilding. And there are certain people who try to destroy them. We have only this year in 2022, we have seen attacks on 3-4 temples because they are in remote areas. There is no one to look after them from the community. Only army and police are there. So we have seen attacks also, but government is taking it all seriously, and we can help community there, rebuilding them in a manner that no one can damage them.
Thank you, sir. Over to Veena ji.
Thank you, sir. I once again request all the participants to switch on the camera.
It is being switched off by the host.
So, host ji, please switch on kar lijiye. Aishwarya madam, can you please switch on the video? Pradeep bhai sir, yeah, DRS sir, Pradeep Oak sir, Vishnukant sir.
Yeah, we can go ahead.
Yes. Thank you. And questions aren't over, but we have the time limitation. There are many questions that the participants and the viewers in YouTube are posting, and we are really unable to answer all that. But they can mail it to AnanthKumar Pratishthana, and we will take up those questions so that we will try to give them the answer, and their queries will not be unheard. Thank you. I now request the chairman of this NFD, AnanthKumar Pratishthana, for his vote of thanks. For his speech, over to you, over to Krishna Bhatt sir.
श्रीमान गिरधर लाल रैना जी, सहना विजय कुमार जी, श्री R.K. मट्टू जी, आदरणीय तेजस्विनी अनंत कुमार जी, भाइयों और बहनों, अभी जो फिल्म प्रकाशित हुआ है, रिलीज हुआ है, कश्मीर फाइल्स, उसके संदर्भ में आज हम कश्मीर के विषय को लेकर चर्चा करने के लिए इकट्ठा आए हैं। कश्मीर की कहानी एक बहुत ही दुरंत कहानी माना जा सकता है। 1947 में देश आज़ाद हुआ। कई प्रादेशिक संस्थान थे देश में, 562 ऐसी अलग अलग संस्थान थे। इन सबको एकत्र लाने का और देश के अंदर इनको इंटीग्रेट करने का काम सरदार पटेल जी ने किया। लेकिन कश्मीर का एक प्रांत ऐसा रह गया। पंडित नेहरू ने कहा कि कश्मीर को मैं हैंडल करता हूँ, आपको इसके बारे में ध्यान देने की ज़रूरत नहीं है। और कश्मीर अलग रह गया। उस समय से पाकिस्तान का आक्रमण हुआ। उस आक्रमण को खदेड़ने का काम अपनी सेना कर रही थी, लेकिन बीच में नेहरू जी ने सीज फायर डिक्लेयर करके आधा सा हिस्सा का कश्मीर का वो पाकिस्तान के अंतर्गत ही रहने के लिए उन्होंने मौका दे दिया। और बाकी कश्मीर भी उस समय जो वहाँ के प्रमुख थे शेख अब्दुल्ला, उसका एक निजी जायदाद बन गया और धीरे धीरे वो अपना सिक्का जमाने का काम वहाँ पर पूरे प्रयास से करते रहे। और धीरे धीरे वहाँ जो अल्पसंख्यक हिंदू समाज था उसके ऊपर ज्यादतियाँ, उसके ऊपर अन्याय होते गए और उसके कारण कई हिंदुओं को वहाँ से निकालने का और कश्मीर छोड़कर आने का भी नौबत आ गया। लेकिन बाद में अभी कुछ 30-40 साल पहले वहाँ से हिंदुओं पर ज्यादतियाँ इतनी हो गई कि उनको कश्मीर छोड़कर निराश्रित होकर भारत के अंदर आना पड़ा। बड़ी संख्या में लोग आए। आजकल भी अपने ही देश में, स्वतंत्र देश में, कश्मीर के लोग वो रेफ्यूजी के नाते इस देश में जीना उनको पड़ रहा है। ये देश की कितनी एक बहुत ही दुर्वस्था है, ये हम सब जान सकते हैं। और कश्मीर में वहाँ हिंदुओं के ऊपर जितना अत्याचार हुआ, ये कहानी छिपी रही, उसको सामने लाने का, उजागर करने का काम कभी नहीं हुआ। अपने पत्रिका माध्यमों में भी, मीडिया में भी इसके बारे में, देश के अंदर अगर कहीं पर अल्पसंख्यकों पर कोई भी घटना होती है, कोई भी हिंसा की घटना होती है, तो बहुत बड़ा न्यूज़ बन जाता है अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर। लेकिन कश्मीर की जनता के ऊपर इतनी बड़ी ज्यादतियाँ हुई, लेकिन वो देश के सामने वो उजागर नहीं हुआ था। वहाँ के बहुसंख्यक लोगों ने, वहाँ के मुसलमानों ने हिंदुओं के ऊपर उनको 3 ऑप्शन दिए थे, या तो देश को छोड़कर चले जाओ, नहीं तो तुम मुसलमान बनो, नहीं तो मरने के लिए तैयार हो जाओ। और इस प्रकार कई प्रकार की ज्यादतियाँ, इसका एक छोटा सा दृश्य इस कश्मीर फाइल्स के माध्यम से हमारे सामने, देश के सामने आया है। और ये जो सामने आया है उसको हम कह सकते हैं कि सिर्फ 10% है, और भी बहुत कहानी जो सामने अभी तक नहीं आ पाई है, वो छिपी हुई है। तो इस दर्द भरी कहानी को देश के सामने उजागर करने का काम अभी इस चित्र के निर्माताओं ने किया है। उनके प्रति पूरे देश को कृतज्ञता का भाव व्यक्त करना चाहिए। और श्रीमती सहना विजय कुमार जी ने भी वहाँ जाकर, वहाँ अध्ययन करके अपने किताब के द्वारा वहाँ की कहानी को उजागर किया है। और अभी और कई बातें जो हैं कश्मीर के संदर्भ में, आजकल कश्मीर मंच के संचालक आशुतोष भटनागर आज के मुख्य वक्ता है, वो बाकी विषयों के बारे में वो बोलेंगे। और आज़ादी के देश में अपने ही लोगों को इतनी दुख भरी घटनाओं का सामना करना पड़ा है, इसके बारे में अपने हृदय में जो एक वेदना हो रही है, उसको हम किस रूप से अभिव्यक्त कर पाएंगे, आने वाले दिनों में हम सब लोगों को इसके बारे में सोचना है। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर। थैंक यू कि आपने ये कहा कि अपने ही देश में लोग रेफ्यूजी बन के रहने का वो वेदना, वो दर्द, वो पीड़ा कैसे होते हैं। थैंक यू फॉर दैट वर्ड्स एज द chairman of AnanthKumar Pratishthana and the support behind NFD, all the web series. Thank you once again. I now request Pradeep Bhai sir for the vote of thanks. Pradeep Bhai sir, over to you.
Thank you, Vinaji. Listening to Muralidharan ji was an overwhelming experience today. we used to tell Echi Dehi, Echi Dola, whether can we see the Kashmir problem being solved. Now, no one felt it would happen during our lifetime, but it's happened now. And we thank Muraliji for his mind-boggling statistics post abrogation of Article 70. I thank him once again. It's my pleasure to thank all other speakers today, Shri Ashutosh Patnagarji, Srimati Sahna Vijay Kumar, Shri Ramesh R.K. Mathuji, and Shri Giridala Rainaji for their inspiring, and it was very informative and experience to all of us. Thank you, everybody. I thank the chairman of AnanthKumar Pratishthana, Professor P.V. Krishna Bhatt, for his concluding address, and Managing Trustee Dr. Tejashwini AnanthKumar, and all other trustees of AnanthKumar Pratishthana for their valuable guidance. I thank the Nation First Dialogue coordination team members, Shri Sujit Kumar, Hanmant Mangoli, teacher turned techie Purna Pragna, Raju Bannur, Mahesh Patil, anchor of this program Srimati Veena Bhatt, Aishwarya and Divesh Pratap Singh Duo, Ms. Vijay, and all others for making this online webinar a successful event. I like to thank the members of the media and all the Karyakartas of Adamya Chetana and AnanthKumar Pratishthana for their valuable time and effort. I would like to thank each and every person who logged in today to this webinar and manifested their concern towards Kashmir. Let us all join and rebuild Kashmir. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Pradeep Bhai sir, for that wonderful vote of thanks. And we end the session, end the 8th Nation First Dialogue series with this. Thank you, one and all.